Waldron. Pre-register online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Let's see. Leaky faucet Tuesday. Water flooding the yard. Better put that down for the middle of the month when the bills aren't due.
Honey, what are you doing?
Planning our plumbing problems, of course.
You can't plan our plumbing problems, but you should plan our plumber.
What do you mean?
Like all important contacts, I keep Westark Plumbing in my phone. They're always there when we need them, and they don't overcharge since they know we don't plan our plumbing problems. Here, honey, here's their number.
646-5151. Thanks, babe.
Westark Plumbing. We keep you flowing.
Man, I wish I knew you were here. We hear that every day at InStock Parts, located off Highway 45 across from the cold storage in Fort Smith. Are you a maintenance technician, landscaper, farmer, or do-it-yourselfer in need of bearings, belts, or roller chain? Or safety supplies like gloves, safety glasses, or earplugs? Maybe you need drill bits, tap and die sets, lubricants, or even a gas-powered pump or generator. Don't waste your time driving around. Stop by InStock Parts, your industrial parts resource, or check them out online at InStockParts.com. InStock Parts.
The best things never change, they just get better. Like Hardee's Original Bag, just $6.99. Choose from juicy charbroiled double cheeseburgers, melty hot ham and cheeses, or hand-breaded chicken tender wraps. 2 full-size favorites plus fries and a drink, all just $6.99. There's no skimping in this bag. No junior burgers or tiny nuggies, just full-size goodness for big-time value. The $6.99 Original Bag, only at Hardee's. These items only, tax not included. Price and participation may vary.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else. My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything: service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's. Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials, tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com. Schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote, get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbor since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSauto.com.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, mostly cloudy sky. There is a chance of seeing some showers. Our high temperatures mid-60s north, low 70s south. Clear to partly cloudy overnight, lows in the low to mid-40s overnight. And then Thursday, lots of sunshine, a high low 60s north, upper 60s south. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Shamrock Liquor Warehouse, 5609 Midland Boulevard, your leader in fine wines, beers, and spirits. You're listening to The Morning Rush on ESPN 95.3. KERX Paris Fort Smith.
I'm hairy everywhere else except my face.
Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center studios.
Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that can respect it.
If I'm all right. Why can't they dominate? And we not doing it.
We're gonna go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah. Take it to the house.
People said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. What's my heart, dog? Let's go, man.
The angles were so bad, we showed them at halftime.
But they were one racerback.
Like, what in the world were we thinking?
It's vintage Matt Jones.
1, 2, 3. Turn it.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
Morning halftime is on ESPN Arkansas. HitThatLine.com. Thanks for tuning in today. It is not a beautiful day. It is raining to the point where we already got a text from Ryan from Prairie Grove. Said he drew 2 rain turtles yesterday. Thanks very much, Ryan. I appreciate that. We need the rain, so good on you. Phil Elson here, my partner Matt Jones, Christian Johnston in the producer's chair today, and a very happy Wednesday to all who are listening. And at the top of that list, Matt, a happy Wednesday to you today. What's new?
Happy Wednesday, man. I think Wednesdays, they might be my favorite shows, Phil.
Yeah, we'll talk with Grant Hall in about 15 minutes. Clay Henry at the top of the hour. I read Clay's column today about the Arkansas-Texas rivalry, and you are extensively quoted in there, Matt, about Coach, I think it was along the lines of Coach Nutt's ability to motivate, how he told you guys some of the stories of some of those big games from back in the day of the Southwest Conference. And it was a good read, really good read. You know what Saturday's game is all about.
You know, Coach Nutt had a way about him. That's for sure. It was always big. I think Coach Nutt's record against Texas is, I think he has a winning record against them.
You can't say many Arkansas coaches that can actually say that either.
Maybe Ken Hatfield, yeah.
Yeah, he may be the only one, truthfully. I mean, I'd have to go back and do all that quote-unquote research and stuff, but something tells me Clay will have the answer to that. I really do think he will. So Texas will come in as the number 3 team in the country, according to the playoff committee, the highest-ranked SEC team. There are 5 teams within the top 15, and you got 8 teams in the top 25. The Big Ten, these rankings are amazing. You can now virtually guarantee that the 4 Big Ten teams that are comprised in the top 5 are in the playoff. That's just the way it is now. I can't imagine that's going to change. You know, even an Ohio State win over Indiana is I don't know if that's going to be enough to knock Indiana out of the top 12, regardless of the idea that their win over Michigan is really the only win that you could look at and say, yeah, that's a good win. I mean, all wins are good, but you know, if you're comparing some of the other victories for the other teams that are in this top 12, the wins for when I look at the teams that Alabama beat, they have the most impressive collection of victories, I think, so far. Georgia, Mizzou, South Carolina, and LSU. South Carolina belongs on this list, though, by the way, since they now outrank Missouri at number 21. And still, I'm looking at Texas with Vanderbilt and Michigan as their best win. But if I see that they're number 3 right now, Matt, I'm thinking, you know what? The committee is saying a loss by Texas to Texas A&M very well will still get the Longhorns into the top 12. I don't know if 3 losses does. So that would make this Arkansas game pretty. It's already pretty damn important as far as the committee's concerned, and I think it could be even more important than we're expecting.
Man, college football is awesome. I really think Texas is the second best team we played all year, Phil. I think Ole Miss was the best. LSU's up there, A&M's up there. I think Texas is it's either when it's all said and done, it's either Texas or Ole Miss was the best team. So yeah, they're a playoff team for sure.
I mean, I think they probably are. I just wonder about, if they don't beat A&M and you're going by Vanderbilt as your best victory. But I'm surprised seeing Georgia drop so far down.
That'd be
12. I mean, they're out.
That would be the first round matchup, the Georgia-Texas game. Again, I mean, how awesome would that be, first round matchup?
Well, Georgia right now is on the outside looking in because of the group of 5 top-ranked champion gets a bid. So right now, even though Boise would be 13th in the rankings, they would get the bid over Georgia. So Georgia is on. Remember,
but who's their best win? Like they haven't beat anybody.
Boise.
They beat. Did they lose to Oregon? Is that their own? But they lost by like 2. So they.
Yeah.
And then I saw somewhere where Janty was supposed to be a top 15 pick in the draft this year. So I don't think he's going to come to Arkansas in the portal.
Probably not. No, I mean there's an automatic group of 5 champion that gets into the playoff 12, the highest ranked group of 5 champions. So I did bad math yesterday on the show. I was thinking about it. The ability for the SEC to get 5 teams in, yeah, it can't because there'll be one Big 12, there'll be one ACC, and I think you can see that just on the rankings right here. I don't think that SMU is going to get in without a championship win over Miami. I don't think Miami lost to SMU in their championship game. If that's what the championship game is in the ACC, I don't think Miami is going to get in, especially with that being a second loss. There's just going to be one ACC team and probably just one Big 12 team. Notre Dame will get in. Notre Dame's actually got a pretty impressive series of wins when you compare to some of the other teams that are in this top 12. A&M, Navy, Louisville, those are 3 good wins. Better than any win Indiana has. Better than any win Penn State has. Heck, I mean, it is a crazy time in college football, Matt. It is, because we're looking at, what was it, last year? Georgia probably would have competed just as well as anybody in the playoff 4, but because of a loss in the SEC championship game, they were ushered out. And now a loss on the road against the team that's playing maybe the best in the country in Ole Miss knocks Georgia 9 spots down, which definitely, and you mentioned this yesterday, I think you're absolutely right about it. Georgia, Tennessee this Saturday, it's a playoff eliminator. Maybe more for Georgia than it is for Tennessee.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big game. I'm still at 4. I think SEC is going to get 4 in. Do you think the Big Ten gets 4 in, or they get 3 in? I mean, Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State, Indiana. I mean,
they're in.
Yeah,
I think they're all in. I think they're in the top 5 right now. I can't imagine unless Indiana just completely
what's BYU doing?
Falls apart.
Have you seen BYU play this year?
I have not.
Okay,
I've watched some of the highlights.
Well, I mean, I wonder how, if they're a tough physical team. I saw them play like week 2. I guess they're tough and physical. I just don't know if they have the speed, but maybe they do.
All they got to do is win their championship. Heck, if they win out and lose in the Big 12 title game to like a Colorado, maybe they get in. They do have a win over SMU. They do have a win over Kansas State. That's the only opportunity for the 12 to get 2 teams in there. Otherwise, I mean, I'm looking at Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State, Indiana in. The only way, because it's like, come on, Penn State is not going to lose any of the games they have left, and they're not going to play in the championship game of that league unless somehow Indiana surprises Ohio State, which I do wonder, like a Hoosier blowout loss to the Buckeyes, would that maybe knock them out? I mean, they're number 5. You've got the example here of Georgia being dropped 9 spots in a loss on the road to a top 12 team. So if Indiana loses by, what was my just checking out the score of the Georgia Ole Miss game. Let's say it's an 18-point loss to Ohio State on the road, okay? Does that mean Indiana should drop 9 points or 9 spots in the rankings?
Well,
we've got the example of it right here.
I mean, they get a chance to make up for it, like you said, in the playoff eliminator when they play Tennessee. Does Indiana get a chance to make up for it? Would there be a rematch then? Would they still? How does the Big Ten do their championship game?
No. I assume like the first 2 or 3 tiebreakers have to be identical to everybody else's. But if it's getting to, I don't remember there were so many words in that, like a word salad for the 5th tiebreaker, which use the word relative, and you throw the word relative in there, it's going to confuse all of us. So, all I know is that it is set up here in front of you. It feels to me like the Big Ten has their 4 teams in. There's no one else in that league that can contend. Nobody. You look at the SEC, Georgia's on the outside looking in. They beat Tennessee. I think that'll be the victory that gets them through. A&M, as right now the 6th highest ranked team in the SEC, is going to need a little help somewhere else, and they're going to need to beat Texas the last game of the season too. But it's kind of wild to see 4 Big Ten teams in the top 5. A couple of those teams really haven't beaten anybody either. They're just going by the record in that case. And I've been guilty of saying that you are what your record says you are, but I think that's more relative to the league that you're playing in. Your conference record is what it says you are. Your overall record comparatively to everybody else in the country, things are just a little, it feels different now, much different now. Because I would tell you what would Georgia do against just about every team in the Big Ten right now? If Georgia were to play against Indiana, if Georgia were to play against Penn State, and we're talking about the team right now that is on the outside looking in because of the way that college football agreed to do this playoff, by having a group of 5 team get into the playoff. Don't you think Georgia would beat, 16 of the 18 teams in the Big Ten? And yet they're fighting for their playoff lives. So I guess that goes along with the territory. You want to be an SEC team? I don't know. You'll be held to a different standard, and it's a standard that nobody else in college football is held to. But that's all right, because you know it coming in. You know you're coming in to the toughest league in college football with the biggest stadiums and the best ratings, and sometimes you're not going to get what you think you should get when it comes to the rankings. Halftime today, again, it's going to be Grant Hall in the next segment, and Clay Henry at 12 noon for a couple of hours, and lots of time for your calls and texts, as always, at 877-377-6963. Quick break. We'll be joined by Grant Hall right after this.
This is halftime.
3 on the way, and it's gone. It's over. Denver goes over. The number 1 team in the country is defeated, and they are rushing the court at Budweiser Arena. They are rushing the floor at Budweiser Arena. Don't dance on that, hey, don't do that. No.
Listen to every Razorback basketball game right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Get the best deals of the year on select New Holland tractors and hay equipment right now at WT Equipment during New Holland's year-end value bonanza. Get the biggest savings with cash back plus 0% interest, $0 down, and 0 due until 2025. Don't miss your chance to harvest our best deals on New Holland's best equipment during value bonanza now at WT Equipment. Offer ends December 31st or while supplies last. For commercial use only. Subject to credit approval and CNH Industrial Capital America LLC approval. Standard terms, conditions, and restrictions apply.
Deer hunting in the comfort of an enclosed 6x6 Lazy Man fiberglass box blind. It's affordable at Jelco Outdoors. Lazy Man Fat Girl Blinds, built here in Fort Smith with your choice of 6-foot or 10-foot tower blind platforms, starting at $22.99.99. Box blinds are great for taking the kids, with plenty of room and out of the weather. Check out the deer blinds at Jelco Outdoors. Hunt longer in the comfort of a Lazy Man box blind, sold locally at Jelco Outdoors. 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
This is Northside head football coach Felix Curry. I call 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
Hi, this is Ricky Smith, head basketball coach for the Northside Lady Bears. I dial 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
Football and fall, what a great time of the year. It's also a great time to take advantage of York factory rebates on high-efficiency HVAC products. Give us a call at 782-8940.
That's 782-8940.
With everyday low prices on top brands, locally owned Jaeger's Ace Hardware is committed to offering real service with real savings. Our brand new Barling location is now open at 942 Fort Street. Get these red-hot buys at all 5 locations. A 230-piece Craftsman Versa Stack Mechanics tool set, only $99. Milwaukee Select M12 and M18 tools and batteries, also $99. And Ace Reward members get super instant savings on select DeWalt and Craftsman tools and accessories. Find more everyday low prices online at JagersHardware.com.
Hi, this is Lindsay White with White Office Machines. For over 90 years, my family's been serving the greater Fort Smith region with the image industry's newest technologies, as well as providing superior customer service through long-term business relationships. As the area's only authorized Kyocera document solutions dealer, White Office Machines provides the best value with high-speed copiers and the latest multifunction printers. Stop by our office in downtown Fort Smith or in Russellville. Follow us on Facebook or go to whiteoffice.com.
White Office Machines since 1929.
Witz Marine, your authorized Mercury dealer, is ready to take care of your winterization needs. With cold weather just around the corner, be sure and get your Mercruiser stern drives drained and flushed with antifreeze. For those with outboards, it's a great time to change the oil and service the lower unit. Plus, treat your fuel for a trouble-free next season. Don't get caught this winter. It's also a great time to repower the old boat with a new reliable Mercury engine. That's Witz Marine, your authorized repower center, 823 North 11th next to Wheeler Power Sports in Fort Smith.
'Tis the season for Hardee's handcrafted goodness. Made from scratch buttermilk biscuits pulled fresh from the oven. The return of special traditions like salty sweet candied bacon. And faithful friends like Hardee's cinnamon raisin biscuits gathered near to us and served all day, all season long. From icing drizzled biscuits to savory charbroiled burgers, unwrap the holiday goodness of Hardee's. And now enjoy breakfast till noon. Available for limited time at participating locations. Items may vary.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Watch
would you do if I sang out of tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me? Lend me your ears and I'll sing you a song. I will try not to sing out of key. Yeah. Oh, baby. All I need is my love. I say I'm gonna
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Always appreciate a visit from Grant Hall, Hall of Fame sportscaster and sports writer, here on a Wednesday morning on Halftime. Good morning, Grant. How are you?
Well, I'm fine, and I'm wondering if that bumper music indicates that I sing out of tune. Is that the idea?
No, not at all, man. It was going to lead to the first question of this segment here. I was going to just ask you, what do you do, Grant, when your love is away?
You know, I tell you what I'm doing right now is I'm getting ready to go to the periodontist because for a consultation, which indicates that maybe I've eaten a few too many sweets in my life, you know. And then the next 2 Wednesdays, I think I told you this, Phil, I'm going to have cataract surgery, one on each eye the next 2. So if I sound goofy the next 2 weeks more than usual, it may be because of that.
We'll get you and Coach Pittman, y'all get just matching rooms right there.
Yeah, you start falling apart. Well, I'm a lot older than he is, so but I also have sore hips, but not the, you know, he said he had a chip, which basically means kind of a broken hip, you know. But he also told us he can walk out of there that day, and it's amazing what they've done with that surgery through the years.
Well, see, and that's the thing. It's like I didn't realize that it's the day that you have the surgery you can walk out, or the day after, I guess. I'm not sure which one. But it plays into some narratives that a lot of people want to project about Coach Pittman as in his future as the Arkansas head coach. But when I hear, it's like he's planned this actually in a fairly perfect way when you think about it, because I think he found out he had to do this just before camp started in August. And so you can't have that kind of surgery during the season. You know, if you don't play in a championship game, you do get the week between the end of the season and the portal opening, and then bowl practice and everything, be ready for that. And I don't know, the more I think of it, the more it makes absolutely perfect sense. And it's actually more of a sign to me that he is going to be the coach at Arkansas.
Well, you know, it's funny how people took this thing because Kyle Parkinson lingered a little bit in the media area afterwards to remind everybody that Arkansas just needs one win to go to a bowl, you know, and that nothing necessarily is going to happen after this season. But I guess it got a few people buzzing because of what he said.
It does. It does. All right. What does this game mean to you? You've been around for a lot of Arkansas-Texas games, but this is their first as an SEC opponent. Does that make it any different from any of the games that you've been to or watched with Arkansas and the Horns?
Yeah, I think so. You know, I told Sam that I've been to, I think I've seen 43 of these things. He's seen 2, and those are the 2 he coached in, and Arkansas won both of them pretty comfortably. So his idea, and you know, I was thinking about this, guys. If someone was in college in 1991 when Arkansas beat Texas 14-13, that person maybe is in his 50s and has seen Arkansas win 5 out of 7 against Texas. So his idea of it might be kind of like how Arkansas fans used to be. You know, you were talking about coaches' records. Frank was 5-14 against Texas. Lou Holtz was 2-5. Ken Hatfield was 2-4. I think Jack Crow was 1-1. You know, because he didn't get to coach much of that third season, as longtime fans may remember. But it's funny. I saw Lindy Lindsay yesterday. He gets his walking in out of Paradise Valley Athletic Club, and so the first thing he said was, "Football is only a game. Eternal things are spiritual. Nevertheless, beat Texas." and that's what my dad put on the signboard at First Baptist Church in 1965, actually, before the Texas game, and it's been remembered all these years. And then, by the way, Lindy, I got him to hit a drive, was my driver, and he outdrove me about 55 yards, I think, on the 15th hole. So he can still he did this beautiful draw right down the middle, and he was a good tight end at Arkansas.
Well, he was a good tight end at Arkansas. I played golf with him at Lost Springs, Grant, and I had some square twos. These were my first clubs. I was in college. I don't know, 19, 20 years old. He used my bag and shot 1 under on the back nine. I mean, the dude is one of the best golfers I've ever seen.
Yeah, he can really hit it. You know, he played a little bit. He was on the sort of the long driving tour for a while. He and John David both tried their hand at professional golf briefly, and you know, that's a tough way to make a living out there. But they still enjoy the game, and it's. I mean, this week is. I don't know if the buzz is what it used to be. I mean, when I was in college, they used to have things like torchlight parades, and of course, you had a pep rally every Friday night back then, or Thursday, you know, depending on where the game was. But, you know, a lot of the students are from Texas now. That's kind of an interesting part of this thing, I guess. But as for the game, Matt, it's hard to see an avenue for Arkansas to win this. I mean,
Texas is the most talented team, I think, that we played all year, Grant. I mean, Ole Miss is up there, but I think Texas, and especially on the outside, they have speed to kill.
Well, and I think part of it is also it's a team that has an explosive offense. They can get ahead of you, and they're so good in the secondary and their ability to pass rush too. It's like it's awfully difficult to come back against them. And when you dominate in the passing game the way they do on both sides, yeah, that's going to be tough. That's why you've been trying to make the point, Matt. I mean, Grant, he's been trying to make the point. This is a game where Arkansas absolutely has to be able to run the ball with success.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. Some teams, if you lose their starting quarterback, it's quite a difference. I heard Iamaleava may be out this week for Tennessee. Well, last week when Manning came in for a little bit, he threw the best pass I've seen this college football season. He was going to his left. He had nothing really except one safety valve guy about 12, 15 yards down there, and he had to lead him in such a way while going to his left at full speed. It had to be in just this one little spot, and the receiver caught it with maybe a couple of inches inbound.
Was it better than the pass that Taylon Green threw to number 5 and he dropped it at Oklahoma State when he was rolling that way? That was one of the best passes I've seen all year.
Man, what's happened to Oklahoma State? There, people are even wondering about Gundy, you know, now after 17 years there.
I mean, we're thinking the same thing about what happened to Florida State. These are two teams that had more than 10 wins, had momentum on their side, you know, figuring the right coach and everything. And good luck making sense of college football this year, Grant. It's just,
you know, I've heard you guys talking about it. Yeah, I mean, it's like I think that the transfer portal, if anything, is kind of equalized it some. I mean, I guess you could say it's good for college football when you've got Indiana and BYU and some of these teams in the picture. That, I mean, when is it? Indiana has lost more games than any team in history, 713 games. And because they are 10-0 with Cignetti, who's a very good coach. But the fact that y'all are talking about all the permutations, think about it, like in previous years, maybe we would be arguing 6 teams for 4 spots or something. Now you might be arguing 20 teams for 12 spots, and I guess that's what it was created for, was to create more interest and conversation, and it certainly has done that, more argument. I mean, you know, Lashley made some good points. I saw in a story today about SMU and what they have to do, and you guys talked about it. But who would have ever thought SMU would be in this conversation? And there they are.
Yeah, well, I mean, sooner or later, if these leagues end up staying the way that they are, we'll get used to SMU being in a. They
have one of the best NILs in the country. The SMU's here; they're back. SMU is a great. That's one of the best coaching jobs. We talk about will Rhett leave? Why would he leave there? That's one of the best coaching jobs in the country.
That is an
I've heard
interesting
that
thing.
he may not want to leave. Well, yeah, it's funny. Rhett used to do radio with Mike Irwin and me, and he would drive up there with his red Hummer, you know, to the old Butler Broadcasting place. And now look at him. I mean, it's amazing what he's been able to do. And I hear that he has distributed NIL money very equitably so that they haven't had problems like that on their football team.
That's the first thing you have to look at now, right? It's the first. You look at why is Ole Miss shouldn't be a national contender. Look at their history and everything. Well, the history of college football, as far as we're concerned right now, and the way that it's played now, started with NIL. That's what makes Ole Miss the championship contender that they are.
He talked about the money yesterday. Just came right out and said, they were down to Oklahoma at halftime, and he gave, I guess, a Newt Rockne talk. Are you guys just gonna, what are you gonna be? And then now since then they've played great. So in fact, somebody said yesterday they may be the best bet to win the whole thing. I don't know that you could argue against that too much.
Explosive offense, defense that can get to the quarterback. Absolutely, I would certainly put that in a dangerous category. But I mean, this is good. It can also be very good for college football because it's added a phrase that we've said quite a bit the last 2 weeks that I don't think anybody had ever
elimination
said
games.
Playoff eliminated.
Yeah,
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
that Georgia-Tennessee game is just as big as that Alabama-LSU game from last week.
And maybe even a better game. Should be a little bit closer. But it's like these are the kind of things that people are drawn to. Not the idea that, the winner of this game may play in the Citrus Bowl.
Yeah, Drinkwitz said after their game the other day, he said, hey, we have a chance to be a playoff team now. I think statistically it's 66% or something, but
I don't ever see a team, Grant. I don't ever see Notre Dame, and I don't ever see an SEC team. If they go 10-2, they're going to be in the playoff. Every single SEC team, if you go 10-2, you're going to be in the playoff.
You would think so, yeah.
But what? All right. So this was something we got into yesterday about this. Like Missouri's best win is Vanderbilt.
Notre Dame
right?
the same way though. Like if they win 10 games, they're in.
Texas's best win is Vanderbilt, but they have the win at Michigan that's supposed to mean something, which I guess it does.
That's
Indiana,
a good win.
It's a good win.
Yeah,
they beat a 5-5 team.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I mean. I mean, it's not like they beat Purdue. Purdue stinks. Michigan isn't last year's Michigan. It's a road game. It means something, and they're okay. It's just that to me. I would expect to see better wins than just Vandy. It's like I look at Texas. You beat Texas A&M, yes, you're in. But if you lose to A&M and your best win in your league is just Vanderbilt, that's what Mizzou had. And I just, I don't see Mizzou as a playoff team. So why should I see Texas as a playoff team then? Then it's about talent level. How many first rounders you got? What's your talent level like? What's your logo? And that's the conspiracy theories people throw on our text line a lot. I don't want to believe them, but maybe I should.
Matt, you remember when Nolan Richardson used to say sometimes you play a team without a name or you play a name without a team. And a team without a name might be more dangerous sometimes.
Man, I love Coach Richardson. We should try to get him on. When's the last time you talked to Coach?
Well, I got to see him. It was sad, when Rose died at her service there at the Catholic Church. And, of course, he went to El Paso for a while. I haven't seen him since he got back. But I hope he can come to some games, Coach Calipari, it was interesting hearing his wife and daughter, talk on the radio the other night at Sassy's, and his son Brad was there on his 38th birthday, and his wife Olivia. So we sort of got to meet the whole family, and really, I tell you, Ellen and Aaron both very articulate and interesting people.
So we played the soundbite from Fran Brown yesterday, the Syracuse head coach. You heard this from Muss all the time. I mean, he would use it as comic relief every once in a while, but you also got a sense that maybe Danielle didn't really want to be around him after a loss because you could see what he would be like. But, Cal's talking about what he's like after losses, takes him 24 hours, he's miserable. Fran Brown doesn't even shower the day after a loss. You find me the first coach that tells you, after a loss, I'm fine. I'll make myself some bacon and eggs, go out for a couple of drinks and celebrate a little bit. Then you'll find the first coach to be fired.
Calipari makes breakfast for his family after they win, and then if they lose, he just hides under the covers. He said for a while.
Yeah. Well, Grant, I guess we'll leave it there. Hey, give me a thought on basketball tonight. We got a tip-off tonight at Bud Walton Arena, Arkansas versus Troy. I hope that the crowd isn't like the thing everybody's talking about. I'd like to see a good game. And I know Cal wants to see a sellout.
Yeah, this is a very good team they're playing, better than probably people think, with a good coach. And last week, I heard that there were 3 major wrecks on the interstate. You could tell 30 minutes before the game, something was different, you know, and I think that probably did have an impact. Wednesday night, sometimes you have people going to church. It hasn't always been the best night for crowds, but he really wants, especially this weekend with these recruits coming in, to see more people. So we'll see what it's like tonight.
Yeah. All right. We'll leave it there, Grant. Always appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on today.
Okay. See you guys.
Grant Hall with us every Wednesday on Halftime. 877-377-6963 if you want to touch on anything we just touched on, which includes Arkansas basketball. We'll hit on that in just a little bit. Saturday for football will be over at Joe's Grilling Cantina. It's where you want to be to watch any Razorback football game, heck, any Razorback sports event as well. During football Saturdays, during the game, half-price apps and half-price taps as you watch Arkansas and Texas. All day long on Saturday is endless enchiladas and $15 pitchers of beer, margaritas, and sangrias. Also $2 Busch Light drafts. Joe's Grill at 74th Street, Fort Smith, right across from Harps, and online at joesfortsmith.com. Stay with Halftime. We'll be back right after this.
This is Halftime. You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line now.
It's that time of year, jackpot season. Play the new $1 Million Jackpot Scratch-Off ticket from the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery. You might just, win one. It's the biggest instant prize of the year, and that's just the icing on the cake. There's more than $50 million in prizes out there waiting for a winner. Be that winner. Try the new $1 Million Jackpot ticket in stores now at a lottery retailer near you. Happy jackpot season. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
When I go out to eat, I want something fresh. I don't want something that's been sitting in a freezer or processed.
On ESPN Arkansas, download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
It's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, Sakale.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA, and college basketball, NHL to UFC and MMA. Head to BetOnline today to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Hey, ESPN 96.3 and HitThatLine.com. Have you been to Swark Liquor? Trey Gentry and his team have a phenomenal spot. It's the first liquor stop in Arkansas for our Dallas and Texas fans traveling up to the hill. So if you're heading to Fayetteville, the lake, a cabin weekend, hunting, fishing, or any other activity you need your favorite drink, stop by Swark Liquor. And check out their apparel too. You'll want to wear it. Swark Liquor, 864 East Collin Ray Drive into Queen, Arkansas. Swark Liquor, we promise to keep them cold for you.
Hey everybody, this is Tyson Fan. Dad, tell everyone about your job at Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash.
Power washing, son. I've been working in the business for over 15 years, all over the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas, residential or commercial. At Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash, our cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more.
Call my dad at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all.
Fire team at 424 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith. The Newmeyers wish you a very happy Thanksgiving.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Troy, they're 2-0. And where Lipscomb, you had to worry about their offense, how they play. Troy, you better be ready to play because they defensively come at you, and they come at you different ways.
So that's John Calipari during Monday's radio show that you heard right here on this ESPN Arkansas affiliate about tonight's opponent, the Troy Trojans, coming in for non-conference 7 o'clock, 6:30 airtime with Chuck and Z. Troy is 2-0, wins over Toledo and New Orleans. And this ain't about three-point shooting in a game like this. You know, Baylor maybe a little bit different. But Troy looks like they got a team that you might have to worry about a little bit. Got just a little bit of size. Got 4 guys over 11 points per game, and as Cal's saying, they defend really well. So, do you think you're going to see any zone? I mean, it's the one game, the first game after the Baylor game. It's a feeling. I mean, we heard somebody, who was it the other day, said that they felt that Arkansas was exposed when it came to an inability to shoot from the outside. It's just 2 games, so who knows, but we wouldn't be surprised to see Troy come out in some kind of zone and try to force some outside shots.
Yeah, you gotta try to do something. You know, I wonder if our guards are going to be good enough. I've only seen that one game against Baylor, and yeah, you know, man coverage, you know, one-on-one, they can go by you, but can we I think our post players are our best players. Like, if you're talking about NBA talent, none of those guards on our team are going to the NBA. Like, they're all but the big Z and Adu, those dudes, that's your NBA talent on this team. So can the guards be good enough?
I think Fland will get there.
How tall is Fland?
Oh, what is it?
I just got to see him play more. Whatever I saw against Baylor, I didn't see NBA talent out of the guards when I watched Baylor. But I won't be able to watch tonight either.
I was going to say 6'3", but he's 6'2".
You remember Sebastian Telfair? You know, he's not as good as Telfair. You know, I mean, you start thinking about guards, and you got to be a pterodactyl. You got to be built different. None of those guards that we got are going to the league.
Well, hopefully can get to the rim because the outside shooting wasn't all that pretty. And, you know, get a chance to play quite a lot of home games coming up here. You don't have to travel again until Thanksgiving, until the game against Illinois. Here next 4 at Bud Walton Arena. Troy, Pacific, Little Rock, and UMES, Maryland Eastern Shore, as you play the Monday before Thanksgiving. So, hey, this is a legitimate homestand. Get some people to show up and watch, and why not tonight? Whether you can watch, too. If you got the YouTube subscription, you got ESPN Plus. You just have to go to the ESPN app, and this is like the thing that's just so annoying about today's how you watch television is you got to log in on another app to be able to use your YouTube TV subscription. But you should be able to watch it if you go to that app. It's 877-377-6963 to get a look at it. And so there was a fairly large win in the SEC yesterday for Kentucky. I didn't get my eyes on this game, but they did beat the Duke Blue Devils in Atlanta in the State Farm's Champions Classic. So I know they were down like 9 points. I think they were down double digits in the second half and come from behind and get a win. And it's fun to watch, really, after every Arkansas game, the reaction from the Kentucky fans and then the reaction after this win over Duke, which they're calling their biggest win in the last like 5 or 6 years. But I remember when Arkansas beat Duke last year, and it didn't go very well, though I do expect that this Kentucky team is a little better than last year's Arkansas team. You know, I think Arkansas will be a team that can score more than we've seen in these last couple of games once Davis gets healthy. I worry about wrist injuries for athletes when the wrist is such an important part of what it is that you're doing. You know, if you're playing on the line of scrimmage in football, you know, that wrist isn't necessarily the thing that makes the biggest difference. I see baseball players, hitters. If your wrist is sore, like snapping that bat around, it is a painful thing to do. And for a basketball player, the wrist injury, when it comes to dribbling or shooting, and you are using that wrist over and over and over again, a lot of repetitive motions, even if you're not using it at the level that you might if it's sore. That is a thing that does worry me a little bit. It's the kind of nagging injury that I wonder if it can last for a while and not just affect Davis, but since, you know, he appears to be, I mean, he is the most seasoned player on this team when it comes to playing college basketball, and a guy that has shown that he can score at a high level against high level opponents. You know, we just haven't seen him healthy yet. So getting him, and I think you like Adu as well, Matt, these are obviously two really important aspects of it. And hopefully it's not an issue against the teams that you're playing in these next 4 games. But it will be an issue against Illinois and Miami and Michigan if those guys are not maybe not fully healthy, but at least like not just on the road to recovery, but where they can get out there and not just be bit players.
Yeah, if Adu and Big Z are healthy, this team's going to win a lot of games, Phil. Those two dudes are studs, and if your guards can keep up, can they make shots? I think most teams will play us man. That's advantage us because they're very athletic. But yeah, we got to shoot the ball better for sure. But that's something they build to.
And I'm expecting that Flan's shot improves. It's just been a couple of games his first year in college basketball, but I'm really impressed with his quickness and his first step and I just think that outside shot, it's a matter of like hoping or just expecting. It's like early season stuff.
Reminds me of an old teammate I had named Fred Talley. He was a running back from Texas, man. Just quick as can be. That's exactly what Boogie Flan looks. I mean, he's so quick. You're absolutely right.
Hey, I wanted to ask you about teammates of yours that were from Texas and what games against the Longhorns meant to them, and if it felt any different for them as it did against, any other team like a Tennessee or against an LSU. When you're playing against the flagship university of the state that you were born and raised in, it just is going to have a little extra underneath it.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Phil, you know how I mean, it's not like guys sit around and talk about their emotions, so you don't really talk about it. You just know the weight of it.
Well, so you're going to put yourself in the mindset, and this is something that you brought up with Clay, and maybe we'll talk about it more when Clay's on. If you were not recruited by the state of Arkansas, if you were not recruited by the Razorbacks, and then you get a chance to play against them later on in your career, it's like Aaron Rodgers.
You're always looking for
everybody that passed him up in the first round. You look for that chip on your shoulder, and sometimes
go.
There's really one there, right?
Well, that's just it. I mean, that's like Maurice Jones-Drew. He said he got the number 32 because all teams passed on him. I said, well, you got selected in the second round. You still, and so everybody, but that was why he got the number 32.
Well, sometimes I think we meant that that added motivation is manufactured, and some like why keep you got to keep that motivation too. Like Brady kept that motive. It felt like he kept this whole motivation about being a 6th round pick for his entire career. I think Rodgers has done the same
Brees,
thing.
same way.
Mm-hmm, that's right. But sometimes it feels to me like it's manufactured. You know, if you can't get past that after
you got to be
9
authentic.
or 10 years.
Yeah, no, you're right. You can't make it up if you're not authentic. That's one thing that's so beautiful about a locker room, and I know you've been around some. That man, if you're not authentic, if you're a fugazi, you get found out. So that's one of the things that you have to be is you have to be authentic and be real.
I think that somebody, and I don't know about like with Jaquindon Jackson because he was recruited by Texas and he went to play at Texas under a different position, but maybe, and it's not like you need added motivation. That's the other thing I wonder about here. It's freaking November. You're playing against a rival that everybody around you, and I don't know if they're paying attention to what fans or students in their classes may be saying about Texas. But if they can't figure out that this game means more to the state of Arkansas and the fan base than just about any other game you play, well, then that's total blinders. But on the other hand, it's November. You're a game away from bowl eligibility. You and I have come at this the same direction, Matt. If you're going out to compete, I can't imagine why you wouldn't go out and give absolutely the best effort possible. But when you feel anger towards the opponent for whatever reason you figure out, maybe it helps your performance just a little bit more. 877-377-6963 to get with us on halftime. Stay with us. We'll wrap up the first hour right after this.
You trying to say Jesus Christ can't hit a curveball?
This is halftime.
Walk-Ons is always a win, whether it's for a post-game celebration, drinks with the crew, or an easy weeknight dinner. Walk-Ons has you covered. Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, craft beers and cocktails. Dig into their mouth-watering menu items like po' boys, gumbo, and voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers and fresh salads. Find your nearest location in Rogers, Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Conway, and Little Rock, or order online or in the app. Walk-On Sports Bistro for the win.
It's fall cleanup time at Gray Brothers Equipment. From the large M7 Series cab Kubotas to the L2502, the best-selling compact tractor in Arkansas and Oklahoma. Gray Brothers and Kubota will make your fall cleanup a breeze. With great pricing and interest rates as low as 0% for 84 months, they're making fall cleanup enjoyable again at Gray Brothers Equipment in Fort Smith and Poto, where if you pick orange, you'll never get a lemon. Now through 12/31/2024, see us or go to KubotaUSA.com for more information.
Valley Family Dental, formerly known as Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family. Dr. Sparkman, Farmer, and now Dr. Blaine Van Nice work to give all of their patients better lives with a better smile. Valley Family Dental, now offering same-day crown service. Mention you heard this ad on ESPN Radio at your next appointment and receive a free bleaching kit or $100 off in-office accelerated whitening. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit valleyfamilydentalpractice.com.
The long wait is almost over, Waldron. Wave Rural Connect will be opening the Waldron Zone for orders November the 18th. If you registered before the 18th, you still need to put in your product order when Waldron opens. Amazing fiber internet and phone, all from a local provider in Ozark, Arkansas, is coming to Waldron. Pre-register online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Do you need an attorney that you can actually speak with? You need Hickey & Hull Law Partners. The attorneys at Hickey & Hull understand the importance of client communication and are taking the time to meet you, respond to emails, and return calls. Every case is important, and they strive to give each one the time and attention it deserves. Call today, 479-434-2414, or visit them online at kevinhickeylaw.com. Hickey & Hull Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Greatness doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, focus, and dedication. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that. Because we put in the hard work and dedication for decades. And that commitment is paid off with award-winning customer service for your auto, home, and life insurance.
See Agent Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
Got a pest? Call West. If you have pest or termite problems in your home, call West today and learn how their 50 years combined experience can help solve your problems with competitive pricing and quality services, all designed with your pets and children in mind. Call today and schedule your free estimate. They even offer Saturday services and long life attic pest control. Call 782-7291. West Termite and Pest Control, protecting your home health and peace of mind.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson, and we are live at Lily's Sandwich Shop in the Bakery District. Jose, but what we got whipping up today, man?
Man, today's special, we have the French Toast Turkey Melt, kind of a special sandwich. It really didn't put us on the map, but it did put a star by our name.
Daily specials every day at the award-winning Lily Sandwich Shop. And if you don't believe me, ask Lily.
My name is Lily. My papa makes the best sandwiches at Lily's Sandwich Shop. I'm buying them at the Bakery District today.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. Welcome back into Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Studios. Crabtree RV Center in Alma, where we make your dreams come true.
One of our great landmarks is going away, guys. Come and Go. Those gas stations that get a Snicker every time you see the sign, they're getting renamed. I guess they couldn't deal with the Snicker anymore. The corporation that owns the gas station named Maverick bought the Come and Go chain in 2023. It has taken them to this point to decide to remove the humor from a gas stop anywhere across the country. 400 Come and Go locations, and they're all going away. Going to be changed to Maverick. I mean, what are we thinking here? Maverick is not a memorable name. Everybody loves the name Come and Go. I mean, I remember the first place I saw it. In the middle of nowhere in Colorado, driving out to Utah to work for minor league baseball team. I'd never heard such a thing before, and I don't think I've ever stared at anything with drool coming out of my mouth any longer than I did at that one sign.
Maybe they're channeling their inner Mel Gibson. He was Maverick. I know it's a remake, but
well, yeah, maybe like get Jodie Foster, to
that was
pull
some
up.
of Jodie Foster's best work right there. I know she gets high praise for the Hannibal Lecter movie.
Oh yeah, Silence.
Silence of the
Absolutely, yes.
Lambs, right? She gets high praise for that. But Maverick, she stole the show.
She stole the show in Taxi Driver too. Go figure. Yeah, gonna be sad when Come and Go goes, because that's where I get my coffee in the morning in Fayetteville. Heck, you got one right across the street from Fayetteville High School. You got one right across from the Waffle House near the MLK exit on 49. I mean, what are we going to do when it comes to needing a little humor in the morning and going to get some gas? We need a gas up and chill station, maybe a filler up. That would be a good one. Just rename Come and Go to Filler Up. That would work. Cuddle and Leave. We okay with this one? People tell me I shouldn't have been in marketing, but I think I just showed reasons why I could have been in marketing. Yeah, R.I.P. Nathan. That's exactly right. Hey, we even have a listener, Hog Wild and Van Buren, worked part-time at Come and Go. How did you do that without laughing? The absolute entire shift. Good thing it was a K, right? Absolutely right. 877-377-6963 if you got any thoughts on that. Or favorite names of gas stations, which is like I think of, there aren't any really other fun names of gas stations that I can think of. You always like the Sinclair stations. Do we have any of those in Arkansas anymore? I know there used to be. The Green Dinosaur station, see the Green Dinosaur?
Sinclair? Is that what that was? Yeah.
Sinclair stations. Yeah, we get the, Mobile and the Horse.
Maverick is it just maybe it's appeasing to the ears. Like it's better.
Well, it does carry the tradition of Come and Go as misspelling what your actual word should be because they don't put the C in the Maverick, and they didn't. 877.
It's like you meet a girl at the party and her name's Jill and she spells it Jylle.
Or an ELLYN.
Don't worry, my pops invented dice.
Don't need any of these stupid vowels, but we do need the second hour of halftime. Clay Henry joins us, and we'll get into that right after this.
I know we're always on the go, heading to Fayetteville, Little Rock, Oklahoma City, and you need a place to fill up. But not just for gas. I need snacks, drinks, and a restroom that doesn't make me throw up. That's why my new favorite pit stop is Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue on the way out of town. I can't stop by without getting something from their hot box or a fresh made burger. That's Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue in Fort Smith.
The long wait is almost over, Waldron. Wave Rural Connect will be opening the Waldron Zone for orders November the 18th. If you registered before the 18th, you still need to put in your product order when Waldron opens. Amazing fiber internet and phone, all from a local provider in Ozark, Arkansas, is coming to Waldron. Pre-register online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
It's the Christmas open house with a big 2-day sale at the Solid Rock. Friday and Saturday, the 22nd and 23rd. Enjoy the festive Christmas atmosphere and enjoy savings throughout the store. Select Caruso shirts for $12, women's devotionals for less than $8, and brand new personalized jewelry. Tons of door prizes and sales, and traditional wassail will be served. Come kick off the Christmas season at the Solid Rock. Located next to Sam's Club on South 74th and Fort Smith, the Solid Rock, serving the River Valley for over 48 years.
Ty Richardson, we're at Wheeler Power Sports in downtown Fort Smith. Lindsay, what's going on this month?
We have the new Kawasaki Ridge side-by-sides in stock. Most of them have a full cab with heat and air. They have a 1000cc inline 4-cylinder engine. We also have new Kawasaki Brute Force 450s and 750s in stock. And we are stocked up for dirt bikes and ATVs for the holiday season. Come by and see us or visit WheelerPowersports.com.
Wheeler Power Sports, keeping the good times rolling since 1967.
TGI Fridays on Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith now has meal deals starting at $9.99, which includes an entree, side, and fountain drink. Try their delicious 6-ounce sirloin served with seasoned fries for $15.99. The Bacon Ranch Chicken Sandwich with seasoned fries, $11.99. Chicken Caesar Salad for $10.99 and more. Their meal deals also include tasty chicken fettuccine Alfredo served with garlic breadsticks for $12.99 and a cheeseburger with seasoned fries for only $9.99. TGI Fridays, I-540 and Rogers Avenue, Fort Smith.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, mostly cloudy sky. There is a chance of seeing some showers. Our high temperatures mid-60s north, low 70s south. Clear to partly cloudy overnight, lows in the low to mid-40s overnight. And then Thursday, lots of sunshine, a high low 60s north, upper 60s south. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by real estate agents Nick and Ellie Glidewell, ready to serve. KERX Paris Fort Smith. You're listening to ESPN 95.3.
Touchdown, Arkansas! How did he get that wide open?
Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect it. If I'm all right. Why can't they dominate? And we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah.
Bill said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Bill Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. What's my heart, dog? Let's go, man.
The angles were so bad, we showed them at halftime.
What they for one Razorback?
Like, what in the world were we thinking?
It's vintage Matt Jones. 1, 2, 3. Turn it.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
Welcome back on Halftime on ESPN Arkansas and HitThatLine.com. Second hour here on our show. Phil Elson, Matt Jones, Christian Johnston producing. We'll have Hall of Famer Clay Henry in just a moment. So I was thinking about some of the gas stations I grew up with. And yes, Buc-ee's. We have tons of people sending in about Buc-ee's because I know we're getting one in, I think, Benton sometime soon. A little too crowded, but they do have the nicest, cleanest bathrooms, I think, in the world. Let's see. We had Kogo's. We had Sheetz. Growing up in Pittsburgh. Sheets could fit with come and go and even with filler up potentially, but I don't know. It's all right just going to a Shell station every once in a while and not even worrying about the name of the place. All right, basketball, 7 o'clock tonight, 6:30 airtime with Chuck and Zim. You got football on Saturday. We got a women's basketball game on Thursday. Lots going on in crossover season. So that means it's a busy time for Clay Henry at Hog Sports Network these days. You can read him at Whole Hog Sports and Hogs Illustrated as well. And it is crossover season, Clay, so that's the right time for, I guess, for you to be getting back into full time because there's a ton to write about these days. And maybe nothing better than writing about Arkansas versus Texas, in which you had our very own esteemed co-host with you talking about his memories and about really recruiting your state, which I think was one of the points you were trying to make on that story. Good to have you, man. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, I think Matt nailed it, and Tony Bua did too. I mean, it's like you got you've got both extremes. Tony would tell you that he was too little, too slow, and Matt was big and too fast.
You know who we're picking first though? Tony Bua. Like you taking Tony
400
on
tackles.
Hey man, Tony. There was what was the old? It was about like 3 years ago, Clay, where I was out there golfing and they were talking about Bumper Pool or Tony Bua, and I was like, I love both of them, but Tony Bua.
Your first draft pick is Tony. Yeah,
100%. His heart. You know what they say, you can't measure the size of the fight in the dog or the heart of the dog. It's like that was Tony Bua.
What was Bua's size? What do you remember?
5'10". He came to school at 180, but he probably played at right at 200. And that was just packing.
Sam Olajubutu, like you think Tony Bua, you think Boo too. I mean, those are just dudes.
Butu's 5'8",
and those are just dudes that are like, I'm picking you on my team.
But it's the heart. It's not about how much they weigh and how tall and how fast. You put pads on those guys, and they got faster. They didn't get slower.
Mm-hmm.
Tony is, and he's some of his stories that he tells are just, I've forgotten that about he and Caleb Miller overslept. They were at South Carolina, and the bus left them, and they woke up in the room, and they've got to get to the game, and the traffic is, they rented a taxi, and they got stuck in the traffic, and so they started running down the median of the interstate, and a state trooper came along, the grass, picked him up, went down the median, and got him to the game. And he said, I need your name. I want to thank you. And he goes, man, I'm a Clemson guy. Beat the hell out of those Gamecocks.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
It almost reminds me of, I've heard Chuck and Zim talking about, I think it was a game at LSU, a football game at LSU, maybe 5 years ago, was it? Where, I think they had a basketball game the day before, so they landed kind of late to get to the stadium. And I think it might have been, was it Jerry Jones that had connections in the police department, and they got Chuck and Zim. It was just the two of them, I think, and maybe even Hunter Yurachek too. Police escort to the football stadium, which I've seen the Baton Rouge police do, by the way, for the 5 buses for the football team when we were there a few years ago. It was in the middle of Friday traffic in Baton Rouge, which is as congested a city as you'll find. That was really impressive.
Yeah, there was a game, maybe it was Auburn, where they called a couple of holding penalties that it kind of wiped out George Wilson's touchdown. Oh, Matt, you may remember this, but
worst call. So we had a bad day. The play clock operator had a bad day when we played Texas at home at the end of the first half. They let 3 seconds run off. We could have kicked a field goal. And then that official, that was one of the worst calls in the history of calls. I mean, there was no holding, had nothing to do with the play, and he throws that flag to get his name in the paper. He should be ashamed of himself.
It's behind the play, and it's going to be a touchdown. There's nothing that guy was going to do. And after the game, Tony chased that referee into the referee's locker room.
Dude,
he went in there, and once he said, "Now I got in there. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I got in there." You know, that's the opposite direction, and he just went in there. It's like, what were you doing out there? Of course, you know, they got him out of there pretty quick.
It's like just because you're official doesn't mean you have to throw your flag. You know, it's like he just hadn't felt like he'd been a part of the game. He's like, oh, let me call it. Let me throw this flag. It's like, get out of here.
So then the next week was the Florida game where
Chris Leak he's going down, and then Bua hits him, and they throw a flag, and it's like it's a football play. What are you talking about? It wasn't like he was standing in the pocket.
First they called late hit. Well, it wasn't a late hit, and then they changed it to targeting. Well, it wasn't targeting.
It wasn't
either.
targeting.
But it wiped out the interception. It would have kind of. I think
it was our ball, first and 10. Yeah, it was our ball.
And I mean, it's got 30 yards to go to win the game, and it was in. And Tony says that it's the same referee.
No way.
Yeah, he says, I didn't chase him into the – he said, I got serious reprimand. He said, Coach Nutt called him to the office and on Monday, and it's like, you went into the dressing room. I guess nobody knew it until the league called Sunday night and said, hey, you know, your players can't go into the officials' locker room. But you got to love Tony. He wasn't scared of anybody or anything.
Chris in Springdale texted, and he thinks that Arkansas is missing a Tony Bua type player, not just this year, but for that's Tony
Bua. He's a dude.
I like Story.
Yeah, he's a dude. Yeah, it's
that dude's he's been the best player on the field a couple times. Like 10.
See, and I think that Jaquindon Jackson is that kind of a dude too.
Man, it hurts. Clay, what do you think about early in the season when we didn't give the backup running back some carries? You know, you think about this wear and tear and this load management type deal, and it was like early in the year, man, play another running back too, because you need Jaquindon Jackson as the season goes.
I thought that was the case against UAPB. It's like, man, you don't
play him against exactly
five carries, and he's in. I mean, yeah. You're right. That's all I'm going to say. You're right.
Sounds like you're not over those calls too, Matt. Some of the bad calls. I don't think people ever get over those bad calls either. I really don't.
I think it was Sterling Sharp, Shannon Sharp's brother, that he was an unbelievable tight end. But one of the things he said that resonated with me is he's like, I don't remember my touchdown catches because that's what I expect to do. I remember my drops because that's, you know, like it's the same concept. You know, it's like I expect to be good and I expect to do this. So you don't really, but you remember the times when it didn't go your way.
Yeah.
He probably also remembered all the offensive pass interference calls he disagreed with.
Yeah. And it's like they had their hand on me too. The Where Are They Now, the stories that I do, the you know, invariably when you say, what do you give me the games you remember, and they'll talk about a great victory here or there, but it's the losses. And I mean, it doesn't matter what the sport is, it's same thing with baseball, same thing with basketball. You remember the ones that got away, the near misses, where you felt you were jobbed a little bit by the referees. And it doesn't matter whether, you're talking to Nolan. It's like, do you remember the national championship at Charlotte? Well, yeah, but what about Seattle?
What about the next year? Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I remember. What could we done differently?
So I remember him saying if Kareem Reed, which, he had just went into the Hall of Honor, but I think he was ineligible that year. And I remember reading something where he said, and maybe better than I do, but he said if Kareem Reed would have been eligible on that team would have won the national.
Okay, here's what happened. So they flagged his test score. He passed the test, but they said he made too big a jump. And then the next time he took it, he was in school, hit that same test mark again. So it was a legit test. I mean, but he had to sit out the whole year. They don't do that anymore. It was just completely wrong.
Bogus.
So he practiced with the team the whole year. So they're in the championship game, and there was a collision just before halftime. Clint McDaniel and Corliss Williamson were running opposite directions, collided, and Big Nasty's shoulder hit Clint in the ribs. Basically knocked the breath out of him, cracked 2 ribs. He could not play in the second half. Arkansas was short one guard, could not press, could not play their same, rotation of guards without Clint. But if you've got Kareem, it's a different ball game. So there you go. Yep, that cost him a national championship, not having Kareem.
Different sport, which I won't mention, different kind of a test, which I will mention, drug test. And it's the same kind of thing here where I heard of an athlete, and this was documented by somebody that was in on these tests. This isn't just like, what if this happens? There's a player that had gotten, in a drug test, caught, positive marijuana. And then, so, all right, well, you're going to be put on probation and all of that. We'll test you again in a few months. And she hadn't used any marijuana again after that, but there was so much in her system it was still left behind from before. And so they knew that she hadn't passed the test properly because she actually had a completely clean test, and they knew that wouldn't be the case at that point. So it's like, all right, in this case, the levels dropped so heavily, we can't believe what you're seeing. They did the same thing to Kareem Reed, but it sounds like it was bogus in that case.
Who was that receiver for the Cleveland Browns that was absolutely amazing, and they kept holding him out for THC? Do you remember who? Do you remember who?
There was a guy. Martavius Bryant was a guy recently.
Yeah.
I think there was
Joshua, like he was a receiver for the Browns, and he was one of the best receivers in the world, and they wouldn't let him play.
Gordon.
Yeah,
I think it was Josh Gordon.
He went for the Patriots for a little bit, but that was, you just think back and you're like, let the dude play.
Yeah. Talking to Tony, he was like, what would you tell, I think Matt, you and Coach Nutt both told me that week of the Texas game that Jim Lindsey and Jerry Jones came in to speak to y'all, on what Texas means, the history of the rivalry. And so Tony's like, I'll go speak to him. I said, well, what would you tell him? And he says, take their soul away. You hit them, Tony. You hit them until you see it. Just leave their eyes. You take their soul away. He said that's the most fun thing in football, and he says it doesn't get any sweeter than to do that to Texas.
Time to put the women and children to bed and go looking for dinner.
I feel like if I keep Charlie on hold any longer, it'll take his soul away. 877-377-6963. Charlie, you still got a soul. How are you?
It's still there. It's right there. But I tell you, I was enjoying what you guys were talking about. If you could take Tony Bua's heart and put it in a lot of people, man, would this world not be a better place? I mean, just and put it in all these football players nowadays. I mean, what a dude. I'll tell you what, man. I bet Texas didn't really come at you in recruiting, right?
A&M offered. Texas never. They had a guy by the name of Vince Young. They weren't gonna. They didn't offer me.
That's cool and all, but I mean, 6'6", 200+ pound white dude that can run like you? Are you kidding me?
Vince Young's pretty good. Vince Young he did his thing. Chris Ricks was at Florida State because I actually sent my highlight tape to Florida State, and they said no, we don't, because Charlie Ward, like Derek Brooks, work done like Florida State. He got to play both sports. That's kind of what they said. No, we got Chris Ricks.
Well, I'll tell you what. I don't care what they say.
Chip on your shoulder. You're always looking for one.
Well, and that's what you got to try to do this week if you're Pittman. Try to find those type of things. You talked about Coach Nutt being so good at that. I am still on this train. I really believe, Phil, you should find a way to sneak Eddie into the locker room. I don't know if he'll, I don't want to get you arrested and him arrested, but I think it's a great idea to get Eddie in the locker room because he's been talking about Texas since he was born. I don't know. He probably came out of the womb. I hate Texas with his fingers down. No horns, And
here's the thing: you'd have to do though, Charlie. You'd have to work on the slow build. You can't just come in to the locker room at 11 out of 10. You got to start at 2 and work your way up. And I feel he's getting a little bit better at that too. Here's the other thing though, Charlie. Like, if you think I'm going to let Eddie in the locker, they don't even let me in the locker room for crying out. I don't have access to the locker room. Eddie, maybe they'd let me bring Eddie into the booth, but probably not.
Yeah, you're probably right. Clay knows Eddie. I mean, maybe Clay can sneak him around somewhere over there. I don't know. Maybe we can do that. Clay don't like Texas either.
I want to tell you, Eddie doesn't sneak around. I mean,
can't sneak around when
He's
you're
got
that
his
loud.
own theme music.
I mean, he's like the Polar Express, man. He's coming. I mean, it's just
Freshman locker room, watch out.
Yeah, you're not sneaking him around anywhere. He's taking names but no prisoners all the way.
And I'm all out of bubble gum.
Eddie's walk around music is Wild Thing. So it doesn't have to be. I mean, he's never mentioned that out of all the thousands of songs he's mentioned on our calls. He's never said Wild Thing, but that would have to be his walk around.
Yeah,
music.
or LaGrange, some ZZ Top.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
or
it's
something with a
along
recipe. Do we know a song with a recipe in it? I don't know. There's someone out there, I'm sure.
that. Yeah.
Charlie, you got anything else?
Swedish death metal.
Yeah. Before I go, guys, how do we make this game get it to the fourth quarter? It's an old coach's saying. How do we get them to the fourth quarter? You know what I think about that A&M and South Carolina game? If we can find a way to run the football against these guys, keep the ball away from them. They're a quick passing team, right, Matt? They like to throw the quick game a lot, throw the screen. We got to find a way to tackle. I'm taking the LSU defensive game plan in there because I'd rather them throw all that short stuff. Don't let them run by you for 70 yards. We got to find a way to, bend but don't break.
You're exactly
And
right because you think of
y'all
the
have a good one.
Thanks, Charlie.
Y'all-
You think of LSU, Phil and Clay, when we held them to the 4 field goals. It's like, okay, we'll give him the yards, and I get it. They get time of possession and all that thing, but you stopped them and held them to 3, and it gives you a chance.
No turnovers, eliminate big plays.
Offense,
that gets you to the fourth quarter. You might be behind, but you get to the fourth quarter, then anything can happen.
Am I wrong to believe in this offense, Clay? Like you think about that? Is it?
No, they
are
can
the
move
teams
the ball.
Just, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
But the turnovers are, that has killed them in the games where they've lost. You get separation. It's because of the turnovers. It does two things: gives the other team the short field, and it takes time of possession. Which is going to be your greatest asset for your defenses if you keep them off the field. And so
100%.
That's what you have to do. You've got to, you got to run it. You got to throw it. You got to convert third downs, penalties, turnovers. So football in the grand scheme is the team that makes the fewest mistakes. But we've got enough playmakers. We've got enough ability to score. There's stuff in this offense that they can put points on the board against Texas if they don't beat themselves. And it's the recipe for an upset. No turnovers, no big plays. And all at once you're in the game. Momentum flips. The home crowd, the longer you stay in the game, the more that you put stress on the other team, and they make the mistakes.
You can turn this team over. They have 15 turnovers. Yeah, I mean, I think you can turn them over a little. That's going to be one way to do it, but this is not a
throw it
defense that has
around.
forced a lot of turnovers unless they've come in bunches in 2 games.
They run a lot of risk. I mean, it's high risk. They throw it around. I mean, they run a lot of offense, which that's kind of what we do. Petrino's got a 400-page playbook, and when you run a lot of offense and you try to take a lot of offense in the game, well, you can't practice it all enough. So it's you have little loose edges, and Texas is the same way. Sarkisian is, the multiple formations, playing a lot of guys in the offensive backfield, receivers, they're changing. So the more you do that, the more risks you have. So there's a chance that they make some mistakes, and they're on the road. They have not been in a lot of close games. So get them in a close game and see what the stress does.
You got Sarkisian as a top 3 coach or top 7 coach in the SEC, Clay?
I think he's really good.
Kirby Smart and Brian Kelly, those would be my 1-2. And then are you going Lane Kiffin? Like, where are you going after that? Do you think I mean, do you think he's a top 3, top 5 coach?
I mean, I don't know about the total package as far as defense and everything, but I know that he understands game plan. He understands.
He's a company man. Yeah.
How to pick apart a defense, and to be honest, he and Lane are the same, and they have the same roots. They were together at Southern Cal. You know, Lane was calling plays, and Sarkisian was coaching the quarterbacks. 05-06, they put 70 on us in L.A., and those same two guys, it was like, 52 to something, you know, the next year in Fayetteville when we were shooting for them. Only knocked, 20 points off the scoreboard. They still, 120 points in 2 games. Nobody's ever done that to Arkansas except those 2 guys.
If you want to get in with us, 877-377-6963. A lot of Arkansas and Texas coming up after the break. Remember, all hunters, and by the way, all of Clay Henry's appearances here on ESPN Arkansas are brought to you by the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission. All hunters, best time of the year is right now. You can't beat hunting in the natural state, but before you take your stand or hunker down in your blind, don't forget to buy your Arkansas hunting license. HuntNatural.com is the easiest way to do it. First step towards an unforgettable season. Halftime returns after the quick break.
This is halftime.
Everybody, this is Tyson Van. Dad, tell everyone about your job at Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash.
Power washing, son. I've been working in the business for over 15 years.
On ESPN Arkansas, download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
It's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got puppies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA, and college basketball, NHL to UFC and MMA. Head to BetOnline today to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Hey, ESPN 96.3 and HitThatLine.com. Have you been to Swark Liquor? Trey Gentry and his team have a phenomenal spot.
It's the first liquor stop in Arkansas for our Dallas and Texas fans traveling up to the hill.
So if you're heading to Fayetteville, the lake, a cabin weekend, hunting, fishing, or any other activity you need your favorite drink, stop by Swark Liquor. And check out their apparel too. You'll want to wear it. Swark Liquor, 864 East Collin Ray Drive in Queen, Arkansas.
Swark Liquor, we promise to keep them cold for you.
Hey everybody, this is Tyson Van. Dad, tell everyone about your job at Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash.
Power washing, son. I've been working in the business for over 15 years, all over the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas, residential or commercial. At Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash, our cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, full deck cleansing, and more.
Call my dad at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call, cleans it all.
On ESPN Arkansas, download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as says cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
It's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got coffee.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Don't say you love me, 'cause I'll only treat you as I do. I know you can name it sweet, 'cause your perfume smelling sweet. Since when I saw you down.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at Hit That Line AR and on Facebook and Instagram at Hit That Line. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Matt Jones just asked a great question, which I think I answered pretty quickly.
Yes, you did, and I appreciate that. But to me, they kind of look like the same. Like Denzel Washington's turning into an old Japanese lady, like, and you think of, you start looking at him, you're like, yeah, he looks like an old Japanese. Sean Penn and Rod Stewart, to me, do they not look the same? Is it just me?
I haven't seen a photo. So Matt asked, you hear Rod Stewart playing there. He asked me, who would you like to be? Would you rather be Rod Stewart or would you rather be Sean Penn? Maybe I should have answered Penn because he's 64 years old and Stewart's 79.
Youth is on your side. Yeah.
I said Rod Stewart because I just imagined the rock star life may have been a little bit more fun, as there's. I don't know
Penn
what it's
was
like to
married
be a
Madonna in the 80s.
He was, but I mean, Rod Stewart was married to.
It was a gimmick.
However many
No, I
other-
know it was a gimmick.
Yeah, Clay, do you have an answer on this? Would you be Rod Stewart or Sean Penn
George
or you
Strait.
someone? Yeah, that would be the answer.
I think Rod Stewart probably. I think he rocked it out more often. That's my thought. He was
Legend.
He was in better settings, and that's why I would go there.
Sean Penn just went to go capture El Chapo or something. Like you're like, bro, like chill.
Boring.
Yeah, chill out, Sean.
I also don't want his marriage with Madonna. That to me sounds like there could have been some knockdown, drag out stuff. I'd much rather have Rod Stewart's marriage to Rachel Hunter, which lasted 16 years. I don't know if it was happy 16 years though. Don't get me wrong.
Your lucky star. I love this track, Guy Ritchie. She's going the same route as Denzel. Like she's kind of looking like an old Japanese lady as well. It's not as funny when you say, "I'm sorry." I kid.
Well, I saw that Denzel said he's going to retire after his next batch of movies.
Well, he totally phoned in the last movie
those?
like Colin Farrell, man. He hadn't worked in years.
Well, how much is a batch? So some people, a batch of cookies is 12. Is a batch of movies 12? There'd be a lot of stuff going on.
Quentin
He's not retiring
Tarantino,
anytime
he
soon.
likes the number 12.
Yeah, like when Krispy Kreme turns out donuts a batch. That could be thousands.
See, Denzel actually looks younger than Penn. He's 5
Dude,
years older. He looks younger than him.
100%. I'd choose Denzel over both of those guys. Like if you're, like Denzel's, he's
because that's a one-name name. You say Sean, there's a dozen other Seans we'd have to think about potentially. You say Rod, I'm thinking Rod Roddy from Price is Right. For some
I'm thinking
reason,
Rodney
I'm thinking
Peete, the
Stewart.
quarterback from the Detroit Lions.
Or I'm thinking Roddy Piper. That's who I'm thinking. If you say Denzel, we know exactly who you mean. Even though there's probably a lot more Denzels now over the last 45 years. Was this a sports segment for a moment there? We had to do a really quick segment. So I think
Well,
we
I mean,
might have just
Denzel
done
could probably do sports movies. I mean, it's like whatever.
He did that. What was that movie?
Well, was he in Remember the?
There you go. There, yeah.
Yep, he was. I don't know any
It's
sports
like
movies.
it's like
from Sean
Novocaine.
Penn.
Just keep on doing it and give
He's a
it time.
coach.
Yeah.
I do not remember any Sean Penn sports movies. For some reason, it feels like that might not be very believable. Hogwild says, if you want to talk about a marriage, it's one you bring up quite a bit, Matt. What about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard? I don't know if you give an answer, though.
That's the best marriage. Like if you were to just write a book about marriages, that would be one that everybody should read. Be like, hey, let's read this book.
Yeah, it would be like the fall of the Roman Empire. It's basically the exact same idea. It's just it wasn't quite a Roman Empire. 877-377-6963. All that silliness just took a few minutes. We'll come back after the break. Get back to the sports.
Oh, come on, guys. It's so simple. Maybe you need a refresher course. It's all ball bearings nowadays.
This is Halftime. You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line now.
Feeling stressed out and ready for a break? Unwind with the De-Stress for Less hot tub sale at Burton Pools and Spas. Melt away your stress with the world's best-selling hot tubs designed to rejuvenate your body and mind. The ultimate relaxation experience is now available at unbeatable pricing. Save up to $7,000. Plus, enjoy free local delivery, installation, and water testing. Treat yourself to pure relaxation with a hot tub from Burton Pools and Spas. At Burton, we don't just sell hot tubs, we build long-term relationships.
Are you ready to build your company's dream team? Just like in sports, finding skilled players is essential for success. With Robert Half's winning combination of specialized recruiting professionals and award-winning AI, we'll help you find the MVPs and key role players who will have you hanging banners in the rafters. Because in business, it's all about having the experienced team on your side. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com today.
This is Halftime.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Hanging with Danny Cobb at American Wedding Laboratories. Danny, tell us about the school.
Well, Tommy, we're going on 3 years in operation. We teach all aspects of welding, from stick welding all the way to combination pipe.
So how's the job market these days?
Job market's wide open, whether you want to stay local or hit the road. As a licensed institution, we have access to many grants, including the GI Bill now.
Great. How do we get started?
Come by 4400 South 16th, take a tour, talk to our instructors.
It's American Welding Laboratories. Find out more at theweldinglab.com.
TGI Fridays on Rogers Avenue, Fort Smith has an incredible lineup for their meal deals. This includes crispy chicken fingers for only $9.99, served with seasoned fries and coleslaw. Whiskey glazed chicken slammers, $10.99. Buffalo chicken slammers, $10.99. Grilled salmon for $15.99. And Friday's big ribs for $14.99, all served with a side and fountain drink. Don't miss out on their happy hour. Karaoke on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and 50-cent wings on Monday. TGI Fridays, I-540 and Rogers Avenue, Fort Smith.
Whether it's torque, horsepower, or just extreme work, diesel trucks do their job. But when your diesel truck needs maintenance or repair, it's time to head to Extreme Diesel. Everything from standard maintenance to extreme repairs, including injector testing. Extreme Diesel delivers. They have the tools and service for your Cummins, Duramax, or Power Stroke. You trust your truck to deliver on your needs, and you can trust your truck at Extreme Diesel. 6630 Alma Highway between Van Buren and Alma. Check them out on Facebook or give them a call at 651-3363. They're bilingual, now offering CP4 solutions for both Chevy and Ford.
Catch your wife kissing Santa Claus, whose real name is Bobby from down the street? Want to know your rights in a divorce, custody, child support case? I'm Jackie Mock with Mock Legal Solutions. Call me today to discuss your options. Start the new year off with a new lease on life for you, and let Santa have her. Mock Legal Solutions, 479-769-1505. Real advice, reasonable price.
Harry Robinson Salasol Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Salasol Ford, and they'll give you more than any other dealer. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they'll still buy yours. Harry Robinson Salasol Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salasol.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
I knew the stakes were high right from the start. When she dealt the cards, I felt my heart. Now I just found a game that I can't play. This is where the Cowboys away.
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
Hall of Famer Clay Henry from Hog Sports Network as well with us on Halftime as usual on a Wednesday, which also means on a Wednesday there is the SEC Coaches Teleconference. Sam Pittman was on that for about 10 minutes. And here are a couple updates from that. Jalen Braxton out. Will not be playing again. I don't know how many games he's played, but it has been a long, long time. So secondary's down one of the guys that could end up being one of your better cornerbacks. Didn't have any much else to kind of talk about the competition in the secondary for playing time that he had referred to in Monday's presser. Better news about Jaquindon Jackson. Pittman says he's healthy, ready to go. Thinks he'll be probable on the availability report, and says the same thing about Taylon Green. So you get good news from Green, good news from Jackson, bad news from Braxton. There you go.
So everybody asks, well, what happened to the defense that we had last year, which I think they're a little better in the front, maybe a little better in linebacker. I mean, Pupal was
so he's a beast.
Decent.
You're right. No, Pupal's he's a G man. He's going to play on Sundays.
Yeah, and so I mean, but I think they got more linebackers.
You're
when
right.
he
They're
would
deeper.
come out of a game, there would be a fall off. But where the defense really changed is when you don't have McLaughlin and you don't have Braxton. Braxton was a young player last year.
Number
but he's
two,
still,
you're exactly right. We've been
those
talking
two guys,
about that.
Yeah, you can play press coverage with those guys. They tried to play press against Ole Miss, and you saw how that went. They don't have the edge locked down, and Slaughter seems like he's been beat up a lot. He was the guy that's supposed to be the nickel. So if when you're not as good at corner and nickel, that changes your defense. Puts a lot of stress on your safeties.
Well, and so it also feels like part of the reason why Ole Miss was so dominant in that game, and you had your receivers getting past the coverage so easily. And I think speed and talent may be an aspect of it, but it was also Sam had mentioned it after the game, and we've got to change up how we're aligning. We had to change up our signaling a little bit here, and maybe the thought was that Ole Miss kind of knew where the coverage was going to be based on the alignment. So you had 2 weeks
you have to
clear
disguise
that up.
it. Yes, I mean this is a telltale sign. I mean, I'm spending time with Travis Williams in the off season. And they were adamant that Hudson Clark was a safety and not a corner. Yeah. Well, about halfway through the year, he's a corner. And, I mean, that's not his fault. That speaks to where they need help. And then, you rob Peter to pay Paul. It's like he's a guy that could give you some rest at the safety positions. And, he was out for a little while. I guess he had some kind of an injury. Maybe it was, he couldn't, they were worried about that he couldn't tackle with what he had. I can't remember exactly what it was. But when he came back, he's at corner, not at safety. And so they're just not as good in the back end as they were last year.
They only had 2 games out of Braxton this season.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I knew it had been a long time since we've seen him, but only 2 games out of the guy who probably was going to
He
be
make that
your
interception
best
against
cover
Oklahoma
corner.
State.
No.
The end of the first half where we didn't get any points off of it. I thought that was him. Yeah.
I think that might have been Jaden Johnson. So long ago, I can't remember. But Braxton's just got a couple of pass breakups and no interceptions. But I think if he'd have played 9 games by now, he'd have had a couple. But Ole Miss.
Well, he's a
put up all
cover
those
guy. Yeah.
But Ole Miss put up all those numbers without their number 1 receiver, without their number 1 tight end. Texas, I think, is a little bit healthier. They got their tackles are potential first rounders.
They're going to throw
Bond
it
is a
40
first
plus
rounder.
times.
Yeah.
That's just what you got to get ready for. They're going to run it, obviously, but they're going to throw it. They're going to be 40 pass plays. Texas is going to throw it all over the park.
Got to get the quarterback on the ground.
That was the thing I was going to get to.
We haven't dirtied the jersey of an opposing team's quarterback since September. We just hadn't done it.
So that's a little bit what I wrote about today. When you're irrelevant defensively at Arkansas, you've got a Dan Hampton, a Lloyd Phillips, a Jimmy Walker, a Jamal Anderson, a Steve Conley, Wayne Martin. It just changes the way teams play you. You're having to double team.
Carlos
Linebackers
Hall,
are
Raymond
going
House,
free. Yeah, those are.
Marcus
I
Harrison.
can't remember who told me this first. It might have been Pat Jones. He called them war daddies. You just got to have one of those, like a Leslie O'Neal when he was at Oklahoma State. Billy Ray Smith was a war daddy. You just couldn't block him. He's gonna get a sack every game. In big games, he might get a couple. So if they've doubled Landon Jackson and had somebody chipping, it's. He's the closest that they've got to that, in my opinion.
Man, even if you're not able to sack, you got to make him feel uncomfortable. You got to make him feel like the walls are closing in. It's like that never happened against Start. There were moments against LSU where it looked like someone was about to break through, and Nussmeier just found somebody open at that moment.
Well, it's telling if Lane Kiffin knows he can leave him out there to break records and nobody's going to get to him.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point. Otherwise, you're going to take him out.
Get him out of there.
Yeah, well, he was waited until they had scored over 50 points to put in the backup quarterback. Got a question from Nathan asking about Metcalf. You're seeing more Slaughter, Hudson Clark, Jaden Johnson at safety. Not as much Metcalf, which just based on how he played against Auburn. I know it's one game, but. That was something Nathan
those safeties,
wondered about.
They just get beat up. Yeah, whether they're season-ending injuries or not, the shoulders just take a beating. That's what was so impressive about what Tony Bua did. And Bumper Pool, same thing. You make that many tackles, eventually your arms and shoulders they're just hamburger meat.
And then we're watching guys like Hayden Henry and Grant Morgan literally play with one arm.
One arm. Yeah, they've got those braces to keep their elbows from bending back, because there's no more ligaments in there. It's just, yeah. And, Bumper had multiple surgeries to keep playing. But so when you get to this point in the year, there's the secondary. Those are little guys tackling big guys. They're all beat up. So I tend to be careful about criticizing those guys. It's like they miss a tackle. It's like, man, they don't have any arms left. They don't have any shoulders left.
So where Sam also had, I guess he was asked a question about the criticism of the Texas schedule. And look, you're going to be judged based upon what your schedule is, but then those in the committee, quite a lot of them go by who they think is the most talented team or talent compared to other teams. The eye test, that's right. Texas, I don't think has really wins over great opponents yet, but talent-wise, Sam says this is a quote. A lot of times critics don't know what the hell they're talking about, and I don't think they know much about this either. This is a damn fine Texas team. But that's sort of irrelevant compared to who they've played. The talent on your team and who you played and what your resume is, they should be two separate conversations, but they end up getting into the same thing on rankings. Yes, this is a damn fine Texas team. Have they beaten anybody worth a crap outside of Vanderbilt? I don't really know. I don't think so.
You have to play 4 quarters. Your team is going to look better at the end of the year if they haven't had to play 4 quarters. So they might have fewer injuries. So it all is relevant. But as far as, should they be in the playoffs? Hey, they're going to be in the playoffs. Now they're probably going to be in the SEC championship game. Arkansas, Texas A&M, they'll have something to say about it though. That's right there in front of you. You can be the spoiler. You can ruin their season.
So get a load of this. This is from Peter Burns. He found a website that knows all the tiebreakers in every league and just can tell you what situations will look like for their championship games based upon this and that. According to Peter Burns. So this week, if the favorites win, which would be Texas, LSU, Georgia, South Carolina. If the favorites win next week, A&M, Ole Miss, LSU, Mizzou, Alabama, Texas. And if the favorites win all the games in the SEC on Thanksgiving weekend outside of Arkansas beating Mizzou, if all those things happen and Arkansas beats Mizzou, LSU makes it to the SEC championship game against the winner of Texas and Texas A&M. So this is a legitimate scenario because that's just if the favorites win for the next 3 weeks, except Arkansas beating Missouri.
Now, we haven't had very many weeks where there's been chalk. I mean, there's been wrecks everywhere, and that's South Carolina beating Texas A&M. That was an upset. Arkansas beating Tennessee. That was an upset. Kentucky beating Ole Miss. That was an upset. So we've had upsets. I mean, Vanderbilt beating Alabama. I mean, massive upset. You can say, well, Vanderbilt's a lot better this year, but that's still a massive upset. So the idea that they're going to make it through these next 3 weeks without 2 or 3 upsets, that would be that you talk about taking Tiger Woods or the field. You take what Peter Burns says. I would say there's going to be some upsets, and I would bet on that.
We got a break here on halftime. We'll break here. We'll wrap up our second hour of halftime, so stay with us.
This is halftime.
Hi, everybody. Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where all we do is keep you rolling. If you're needing a used car, we've got them. Everything from the most affordable cash cars to road-ready certified with warranty. The best used cars your money can buy. And we've got a finance option for everyone, whether you have great credit and you're looking for the best rate or you're needing to build your credit with a reputable lender. We've got you. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center. All the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath.
Today is the day. After countless hours of research, cutting back expenses, and 9 months of anxiously waiting for her, today is the day you finally bring home your new car. It's also the day to protect her with an auto policy from Shelter Insurance. Our policies are competitively priced and include new car replacement coverage if anything were to happen to your new baby.
See Agent Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
Walk-Ons is always a win, whether it's for a post-game celebration, drinks with the crew, or an easy weeknight dinner. Walk-Ons has you covered. Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, craft beers and cocktails. Dig into their mouth-watering menu items like po' boys, gumbo, and voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers and fresh salads. Find your nearest location in Rogers, Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Conway, and Little Rock, or order online or in the app. Walk-On Sports Bistro for the win.
Looking to boost your health and feel your best? Elite Wellness and Aesthetics in Fort Smith is here to help. Starting at only $200 a month, semaglutide and tirzepatide are weight loss shots that can kickstart your journey to a healthier, more confident you. And with Elite's hormone therapy treatments, you can restore balance, energy, and vitality. Take control of your health today with Elite Wellness and Aesthetics. 479-242-9355 to schedule your appointment or visit FortSmithElite.com. Elite Wellness and Aesthetics, getting to know you inside and out.
The long wait is almost over, Waldron. Wave Rural Connect will be opening the Waldron Zone for orders November the 18th. If you registered before the 18th, you still need to put in your product order when Waldron opens. Amazing fiber internet and phone, all from a local provider in Ozark, Arkansas, is coming to Waldron. Pre-register online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Hey everybody, this is Tyson Fan. Dad, tell everyone about your job at Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash.
Power washing, son. I've been working in the business for over 15 years, all over the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas, residential or commercial. At Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash, our cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more.
Call my dad at 479-763-5561. Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call, cleans it all.
It's the Christmas open house with a big 2-day sale at the Solid Rock. Friday and Saturday, the 22nd and 23rd. Enjoy the festive Christmas atmosphere and enjoy savings throughout the store. Select Caruso shirts for $12, women's devotionals for less than $8, and brand new personalized jewelry. Tons of door prizes and sales, and traditional wassail will be served. Come kick off the Christmas season at the Solid Rock. Located next to Sam's Club on South 74th and Fort Smith, the Solid Rock, serving the River Valley for over 48 years.
Come see Cody and the gang on Advanced Mechanical Performance. You can find them at 3201 Wheeler Avenue in Fort Smith. Need repair or service for your ATV or UTV? Advanced Mechanical Performance can do it all, as well as taking care of all of your power sports parts accessory needs. Give them a call today at 434-4161. That's 434-4161. Or stop by 3201 Wheeler Avenue. Advanced Mechanical Performance. It's what you should be striving for.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
There's a destination a little up the road from the habitations of the towns we know. A place we saw the lights turn low, the chicks start dancing to get fresh flow, pulling out jobs and jamboree handouts, 2 turntables and a microphone, bottles and cans. Just clap your hands, just clap your hands.
Welcome back into Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Studios. Crabtree RV Center in Alma, where we make your dreams come true.
Go right to the phones to wrap up hour number 2 with Jawan in Fayetteville holding through the break. Good afternoon, Jawan. Thanks for calling. What's going on?
Going pretty well, man. I just wanted to chime in on Tony Boer at first. Tony Boer was a great player, but I always look back to he played at a great high school program, one of the best. Didn't he go to John Curtis High School in Louisiana?
He went there 1 year. He had played.
That's a great high school, and they were a powerhouse at that time. I remember whenever Springdale played those guys and beat them. That's when I really found out how good they were. And their coach coached there for like over 40 years. I think he's still there.
Yeah, so he played in a small district in Texas, gained 2,000 yards as a tailback. Went with his tape to see Mack Brown, and Mack Brown told him, you're going to end up at Sam Houston State or Stephen F. Austin. You're not a Division I player. His dad was from Louisiana, so they loaded up. I think they lived in a trailer, and went to John Curtis and basically said, I'll play wherever you want to put me. And they put him at inside linebacker, and he beat out a returning starter, and Clifton Ely found him. So that's the story but they thought he was undersized at John Curtis. But yeah, they're terrific program, powerhouse.
Yeah. I've just noticed that a lot of these guys that we see that are under-recruited who go and make a splash, they usually come from major programs. Like this year, I look at the Razorbacks. Bradley Shaw is a name that's going under the radar, but the games that I've seen him in, He's flashed. He shows some real potential for the future. That's a kid that came from Hoover High School. I'll say this, that's not a slouch high school at all. We all know what Hoover High School is about. And even here in Arkansas with the Morgan kids, those kids weren't scholarship players. But they came here and they performed. Grant, Drew Morgan, even some of the other kids, they performed above what the recruiting services said. So I'm really not a big star guy. I like to evaluate. I like to look at a football player myself and determine what I think. Because stars, I think they're really biased towards some of these states, if I'm being honest, over some of our other states. I really feel like Antonio Jordan, with his size and speed, if he was in Texas, he'd be a 5-star, no doubt about it. At wide receiver, especially.
Juwan, we're right up against the break. We'll have to end the call there, but I always appreciate your phone calls. Thanks again.
Good point about John Curtis. It is a factory.
877-377-6963 for any thoughts you have on Arkansas, Texas. We got basketball tonight as well. You can bring up anything else you want to bring up on halftime. Don't forget, though, about Crabtree RV Center. Been doing it over 70 years, making sure your family has the best experience choosing the right RV for your adventures. Find them at the junction of I-40 and I-49 in Alma, right beside the Cracker Barrel, and online at crabtreerv.com. Halftime into the third hour with Hall of Famer Clay Henry right after this.
Brothers Roofing and Restoration, a licensed and insured local roofing contractor in Arkansas. Since his playing days for the Hogs, Brother Alexander has been on rooftops, many years as an adjuster, and in the past decade as a roofing contractor. He knows how to help you through the insurance process while replacing your roof using only the industry's best materials. And being a lifelong Arkansan, he'll be here to stand behind his workmanship and warranty. Call 479-353-3877 to arrange a time for Brother and his team to inspect your roof.
Ladies and gentlemen, Adventure Dave will be attempting his greatest stunt yet. He will jump over 100 boats, ATVs, cars, and trucks, all at Adventure Oklahoma in Roland, brought to you by Auto Finders. Here he comes now. Adventure Dave, why did you choose Adventure Oklahoma for this stunt?
Well, Tom, Adventure Oklahoma is your one-stop shop for adventure. Plus, no one else would let me jump over their boats and ATVs.
Adventure Oklahoma by Auto Finders has it all. Brand new, used, that's right. CF Moto, Arctic Cat, and Segway side-by-sides and ATVs, all with a free 5-year warranty. Only offered by Adventure Oklahoma. Plus, G3 boats, Suncatcher pontoons, and Falcon Bass boats with delivery up to 100 miles away. The lowest priced pre-owned vehicles in the area with 90 days to your first payment.
That's right. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a date with Destiny.
Yes, and what a jump it will be.
No, the jump is tomorrow. This is Destiny.
See y'all later.
Well, until then, visit Adventure Oklahoma in Roland, brought to you by Auto Finders. AutoFindersOK.com.
Your journey starts here.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. Our #1 volume lure out of our 20 fishing brands is the Bobby Garland Baby Shad. We make them by the millions in our facility in Fort Smith, and the Baby Shad is without a doubt the #1 soft plastic crappie lure in the U.S. Fish it on a light jig head or underneath a float, and you'll find it's as productive as live bait. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Bobby Garland Baby Shad.
Top CDL Academy is a licensed Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration that provides the federal required training to obtain both Class A and Class B CDL licenses. Our program provides assistance with employment after graduation. We have finance and grant options available. Students straight out of class have started new careers earning $70,000 to $140,000 per year, and training is provided for all 50 states. Call today, 479-632-1050. COP CDL Academy.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, mostly cloudy sky. There is a chance of seeing some showers. Our high temperatures mid-60s north, low 70s south. Clear to partly cloudy overnight, lows in the low to mid-40s overnight. And then Thursday, lots of sunshine, a high low 60s north, upper 60s south. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by real estate agents Nick and Ellie Glidewell, ready to serve. You're listening to ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris, Fort Smith.
You sound like a participation trophy, Dad.
Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center studios.
Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
doing tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you. Oh, ask me if I'm all right. Well, kids they dominate, and we not doing it.
We're gonna go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah. Take it to the dump.
Both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. What's my heart, dog? Let's go, man.
The angles were so bad, we showed them at halftime.
What ain't but one racerback?
Like, what in the world were we thinking?
It's vintage Matt Jones. 1, 2, 3. Turn it.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
We are into our third hour of halftime on a cloudy and wet Wednesday. Appreciate you tuning in today. Phil Elson along with my partner, Matt Jones. 45 has stepped into the producer's chair. We gave him a new nickname yesterday, El Flama Blanca. We call him Colton Little most of the time. And the one and only Clay Henry, Hall of Famer from Hogs Sports Network as well. I'm gonna have to. I wrote down the nickname from yesterday, Matt. I put it right here so that I will not forget it. Just like I've tried to write down some of the songs and the movies that you are constantly recommending to me. Like I wrote down yesterday, Ocean Alley, The Secret Souls. Forgot to write down the movie you told me about during a commercial break recently, but I did write down El Flama Blanca.
Out of the Furnace. It's Casey Affleck. It's Woody Harrelson. It's some of their best work. There's a lot others in there as well. But yes, yeah, check that out. It's a good one.
I get good advice from Matt on a daily basis for my pop culture digestion, Clay. So, and I remember these things too. All right. Playoff poll yesterday. I don't think have we gotten your thoughts on this yet, Clay? Did we bring it up yet? Texas, number 3, number 1 in the SEC, essentially 4 out of 5. 4 out of the top 5 are Big Ten teams, which tells me I think unless Indiana gets absolutely wiped out by Ohio State, they're going to be in because it looks to me like they have set the table for 4 Big Ten teams, 4 SEC teams, your one group of 5, your one Big 12, your one ACC, and Notre Dame. And that's about it, you know. Ole Miss. I think Lane Kiffin was asked about why are we 11 right now. Well, that's because you were probably 15 before. I do wonder, like, what is the deal with Georgia dropping 9 spots? They dropped 9 spots with a loss. Miami didn't drop that much with
a road
loss to a worse
SEC
team.
loss.
That's right.
Yeah, there's still a lot of movement left, I believe. This is where they're just positioning yourself. They're okay. If we do this, this is what it looks like. I think there'll be some more change the next 2 weeks, and then there may be some more change after the conference. The team that looks to me that I'm not buying yet, and it's a little bit like Texas. That I need to see more. I need to see how they finish out, how Texas finished out against Arkansas and Texas A&M, and I think there's probably committee members are thinking the same thing. Well, until we see that, we're going to leave them there. It's Penn State. And I mean, their schedule is just, I mean, it's like, are we going to give them that much credit for playing Ohio State close? That's their, you know, I guess maybe when they beat USC at USC, that's a significant victory. But USC is just, they got nothing. I mean, they're not what they've been. They haven't been. I mean, Lincoln Riley is, you know, he's been a fail out there, in my opinion. And I can't buy Penn State in that spot yet.
Well, and there's really nobody on the schedule left for Penn State that's going to make you change your mind about that.
I know, but
Maybe
that doesn't mean it's
Minnesota.
right.
I don't know. Right.
Yeah, so it's like are you sitting there thinking that the Big Ten is all of that? I don't think we know that. I don't think we have a feeling for any of that. But it's I think that what we've got with the committee is that they've been threatened by the commissioner of the Big Ten, the commissioner of the SEC, we're watching you. If we don't get our teams in, we don't like the way y'all are seeding them, then we're going to take our ball and we're going to go play somewhere else.
You know, Clay, that's a take that Bill King, who comes on with us Tuesdays from Nashville, had yesterday. He put it in different terms. He
I didn't
said
hear that, but I'm with
he
you.
said, no, but he said Sankey would threaten the committee members' lives. It's basically the same idea, which I mean, this is partially what this like get together that the SEC and Big Ten athletic directors
Correct.
did. What? How long was that? 3 weeks ago, a month ago, where they all met in Nashville, and
so we're watching you.
Well, there were some optics that were involved in this. I mean, it was some of it was all about the optics because it came right around the time that other group is coming in with the idea of eight different pods, and I forget exactly, it was I think college student football league, was that the name for it?
Yeah.
And the athletic directors are meeting, and they're like, yeah, forget about that kind of thing. And it's the same idea here, where that happened a month before the committee starts meeting, and you have this example from these schools. If you have 8 of these teams in the 12, they very well could be in a position where they say, yeah, if we don't like who you got in there, can they really go take their ball and just play amongst themselves?
Sure they can, because they got the TV networks. That's all they need. And they will. Their tournament would you'd have 6 and 6. That's what they'd do. We have 6 SEC teams, 6 Big Ten teams, and we'll have a tournament, and that's we'll crown them champ. And then you would basically have 2 levels of football. Yeah, there's something to it. I get it. They're like some of these teams are not on the same level with their. I don't really know about if the Big 12 is that bad. I watched BYU play SMU, watched them play Utah, and I think they're pretty good. But it's like they don't want there to be 3 Big 12 teams in it, 3 or 4. They don't, if that's what happens, then we're going to take our ball and go. It reminds me of the stuff Texas used to pull. So it makes me uncomfortable, but by the same token, they may be right.
Well, I think they are right in this case. If you just look at, let's take away the idea of the teams and the quality and all. Look at the ratings that the Big Ten and the SEC get compared to the other leagues. It's massively different. I mean, hugely different. The reason why ESPN is paying all this money, billions upon billions of dollars, is it because of the quality of the games? Potentially. Yeah. It's the number of eyes that these games get. And SEC and Big Ten teams just have more people watching them. Potentially that's because they're better. I think college football might mean a little bit more in those 2 leagues. They certainly have the most money, but I think it was the interest in those leagues that led to that money specifically.
Yep. Well, it all will play out in the next 4 weeks. But it's, I
just look at an idea like Georgia. Right now, they'd be on the outside looking in. They know exactly what they got to do. They got to win out, which really just comes down to the idea of beat Tennessee and let the rest take care of itself. But you think Greg Sankey would have a conniption if he's got a team that's number 12 in the country and gets left out because you got to have a group of 5 team in? Of course he will.
Absolutely, he will.
But it is the system they agreed to, at least for these next 2 years. And then things eventually change all over again. We got to get used to it. Hey, we got a text in from Jesse. Let's switch over to Arkansas, Texas. And I've wondered about this because we brought up the idea of being hyped up to play Texas. He says he's tired of hearing about that. He says, why would anyone really care about a rivalry with Texas when most of them didn't grow up in Arkansas as Razorback fans? And that's something that Pittman brought up on Monday, and I think that's a reason why he was showing some clips of the legendary games between these teams, because some of the guys don't really fully appreciate. They know it's a rival, but I don't know if they fully appreciate it, like the way that Matt, like Matt did when he was playing at Arkansas. It was just kind of ingrained in you. And you had the coach that taught you what that was about as well. He says if you believe it's a rivalry, you may end up playing harder and better. So is it overdone talking about getting up for Texas? Because when you're looking at the rosters and the talent level on both teams, I mean, it's obvious to see why Texas is a 14-point favorite on the road.
Yeah, so I did not have enough room to really dive into everything that I wanted to in this Texas Week column that I did. So I went back and picked out like 6 rosters when Arkansas has been good, and they were significant factors. And for instance, 64, the national championship team, I went back and looked at their roster, including the red shirt roster and and they called it the Shoats, the freshman roster. 22 players from Texas. There's 26 players from Texas on the current roster. And 1978, there were 20 players from Texas. So those players know what it means to play Texas. In almost all the cases, they were snubbed. They were not picked by the University of Texas. Lloyd Phillips came to Arkansas because Texas didn't want him. Other Southwest Conference teams wanted him. But Texas, they took their 4 or 5 defensive tackles and they got who they wanted, and they didn't take him. So, but when you sit here and say that this roster doesn't know about the University of Texas and the quarterbacks from Texas, the tailbacks from Texas, I actually transferred from Texas, right? Didn't he start out at Texas as a quarterback? I mean, he knows what Texas is about. You look at the roster, and so it's not this isn't something that you have to go convince 85 players that this is a big game. This is a big game to those players, just like it is. Oklahoma has a lot of Texans on their roster, and that's the way it's been throughout history with Arkansas. If you're not recruiting Texas at Arkansas, you've made a mistake. So I think that there is thought that it's an important game. I mean, Tony Bua didn't have to be taught anything about playing Texas. I mean, Mac Brown turned him down. And I think, Matt, you didn't really need to hear a lecture or a speech from Jerry Jones and Jim Lindsey, did you?
No, you didn't need to, but you understand the importance of it, though. You kind of get it.
Yeah, and I mean, the student body is massively Texan, massively. I mean, you just drive around Fayetteville, and all you're going to see is Texas license plate.
Was it this year or last year where the incoming freshman class had more kids from Texas than Arkansas? I remember reading about that.
Yeah, I think it was pretty close. There was some thought that there were more, but it was close. But overall, there's more Arkansas kids than Texas kids on that campus. But it's Texas is a name. It's a logo. But to say that the roster grew up hating Texas would be a misnomer, and that's the way it was in the '60s. And it's the campus usually was tumultuous during Texas Week back in the days when I was in college. I mean, it was, people didn't go to class that week much, and then the professors didn't try. I mean, it was okay. We'll see you next week. But it's I think it'll, there's still going to be the same kind of interest across the state of Arkansas that it always has been.
You can call or text us at 877-377-6963. Great deal going on right now at WT Equipment. Best deals of the year on all model year 2023 and select 2024 Workmaster and Boomer compact tractors. You can choose 0% financing for up to 72 months or take up to $8,500 in cash back. Also, for a limited time, you can get a free loader with your purchase. That's the best deals of the year. Value Bonanza going on right now at WT Equipment in Springdale and at all 7 of their locations. The offers end December 31st. Halftime returns right after the break.
Connor, all I'll say is truck, yeah.
The American Patriot Promotions Gun Show is coming to Clarksville Saturday, November 16th and Sunday, November 17th. On Saturday, the doors open from 9 to 5 and Sunday from 9 till 3. The American Patriot Promotions Clarksville Gun Show is at the Johnson County Fairgrounds. Tickets are just $10 per person and only $8 for military and police. Plus, veterans get in for only $5. Children 16 and under are free. Go to AmericanPatriotPromotions.com.
Witz Marine, your authorized Mercury dealer, is ready to take care of your winterization needs. With cold weather just around the corner, be sure to get your Mercruiser stern drives drained and flushed with antifreeze. For those with outboards, it's a great time to change the oil and service the lower unit. Plus, treat your fuel for a trouble-free next season. Don't get caught this winter. It's also a great time to repower the old boat with a new reliable Mercury engine. That's Witz Marine, your authorized repower center, 823 North 11th next to Wheeler Power Sports in Fort Smith.
The long wait is almost over, Waldron. Wave Rural Connect will be opening the Waldron Zone for orders November the 18th. If you registered before the 18th, you still need to put in your product order when Waldron opens. Amazing fiber internet and phone, all from a local provider in Ozark, Arkansas, is coming to Waldron. Pre-register online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Are you tired of the overcrowded fitness centers? Would you like a fitness option where you can actually work out? Then let's hang out. The Hangout is Fort Smith's newest fitness facility. It has an 8,000 square foot gym, indoor tennis, pickleball, and basketball with more sports coming soon. The Hangout offers group and individual training in the gym and boasts 3 active tennis pros to help you grow your game. Stop in today at 5400 Gary Street or thehangoutfs.com for more information. Be a part of something different. Fitness, sports, and more. Let's hang out.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson. We're live at First Financial Mortgage. My friend Ethan Adamson. Ethan, I got a good recommendation from a friend. You go to your Google reviews right now, you guys are at 4.9 for First Financial Mortgage.
Yeah, we've got the most Google reviews by any lending company in the River Valley by more than double. We really pride ourselves on those Google reviews, try to make everyone's experience really well, and that way they'll refer us to other people. Call 479-782-9300. Weekdays 8 to 5, ffb1.com. First Financial Mortgage, in the business of you, equal housing lender.
Harry Robinson Salisal Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Salisal Ford, and they'll give you more than any other dealer. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they'll still buy yours. Harry Robinson Salisal Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisal.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game.
ESPN 95.3.
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
Well, apparently at tonight's Razorback Troy Trojans basketball, you know that stick mic that is kind of sitting there on the scores table, but angled towards the basketball court so that the officials can talk into it. And you would who is it that they're speaking to when they are looking at the monitor? They're talking to the replay officials. I think they're talking to the television broadcasters. They're not talking to the fans. They're certainly not talking to the radio announcers. But apparently this microphone now will connect inside the arena, and you will actually be able to hear the voice of a basketball official, maybe even for the very first time inside Bud Walton Arena. So that makes it just – so we had this with baseball last year. You guys remember this. And sometimes we were just used to it. So the microphones didn't work all the time. They seem to work most of the time for football. We'll see if it works day one for hoops.
Yes, that's dangerous. Texas, they'll throw stuff at him.
Well, Troy will. Will Troy fans throw something at them? We're going to have like 200 fans coming in from the middle of nowhere. You guys ever been to Troy, Alabama before?
I've spent the night there. I've covered an Arkansas-Troy baseball series.
They played on the road there?
They did. That was, how sometimes Dave will play, a road series to start out, early. Just, he's going to Texas now, and plays in indoor. But that was a February series that he wanted to, he likes to get them on the road and get them away. And
Clay, you
went
remember
down there and swept them. Yeah. Troy was pretty good in baseball too.
Well, you remember. So I want to say it was my sophomore or junior year, but we played Troy and we played Lafayette one year. We played like Mexico Monroe, or you always kind of schedule these teams, and so we had Troy on the schedule. And you're thinking, that's going to be they had O.C. Umagara. You remember him for the Giants? Yep. They wanted, and they had DeMarcus Ware. They had the best defensive line that we played out of everybody that year. They were not an easy win.
So in that particular time, if you got in trouble at Alabama or at Auburn, that's where you went. That's where you went. I mean, they had a lot of transfers.
What are the other FBS programs in the state of Alabama? Are there others? Are there three? Or
well,
are there
you
more
got Jacksonville
South
State.
Alabama.
Yeah, South
Troy
Alabama.
turned Division I before South Alabama.
South Alabama is a basketball school, though.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Mobile, but it was an interesting campus, actually pretty nice, and I stayed there. When we played in Outback Bowl, I split the trip up. It was almost halfway. Spent the night in Troy. That was my little angle all the way down from Norfolk to Tampa. I like Troy. It's nice, non-logo restaurants. Little mom and pop places. Yeah, it was a good place.
The chicken fried steak there is going to be really good.
It was good.
It's legitimately, so they call it a college town. That's a college village.
It is a college village.
It's tiny. Like Tuscaloosa is a decent-sized town, over 100,000 people. Auburn's 70,000, but Opelika is right next door. That's a lot bigger of a place than people give it credit for. Troy is tiny, and I've been there. When I did UALR basketball, we'd go there. They were in the Sun Belt. Tiny little place. There was nowhere to go. You can walk around Auburn. You can walk around Tuscaloosa. Yeah, you don't even really cross the street in Troy.
It seemed like the restaurant that I went to was called Southern, and then, of course, they had a great Waffle House.
Yeah, well,
I'm being facetious, yeah.
I mean, every Waffle House is good. Let's be honest.
Same deal, yeah.
They should be. Those who aren't.
But you're right, Matt. Those guys were dudes. They played
I'm just
in
glad
the
we
NFL.
had Jason Peters and Sean Andrews on our team.
You had to have them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Basketball program, though, I still think of Troy as football, first and foremost. I think of him as baseball because I remember seeing the ballpark and thinking, hold on a moment, that right field fence looks like it's 290 feet away.
It was that's exactly what it was. That's where that Gulf breeze came in from, though. But it's you had in the wind blew, and they packed the park for Arkansas.
Any longtime Naturals fans will remember the name Clint Robinson, who I think won a Texas League Triple Crown. He came out of Troy. So it's actually pretty good baseball. It's a good sports school overall, and I think it's a good team to come in to Fayetteville. I think it's better than Lipscomb. Certainly not better than Baylor. What do you think about this one tonight, Clay? I mean, we're all going in expecting they're going to win, but what do we need to see? Is it a matter of health of a couple of players? Do you need to see better shooting on the outside? You need to see a little better defense on the pick and roll. What's top of mind for you tonight?
Yeah, get the ball to the low block, and they, I looked out there in a couple of the games, and they had 5 guys on the perimeter. Nobody wanted to go to the low blocks, so somebody's got to play in the paint. You need to outscore. Everybody's like, well, score more threes, score more layups, and you'll get some threes. You can play inside out. So I'd like to see Jonas Adu. I mean, I think that at some point he's got to be a factor for this team. I mean, he still looked like he's hobbled just a little bit. So, but yeah, when they get that guy back, I mean, he to me was the dude that they brought in this class. He was an all SEC player at Tennessee. He knows how to play the game. So I think it's important to get him back going. And is it this game? It may not be. It may be, closer to Christmas, but I don't want to just roll him out in January. So that's what I'll be watching. And, they can shoot better. I think they have better shooters. But if they're moving the ball inside out, I bet they shoot better threes.
You're going to get out and run in this ball game. I think it's a team that can turn stops into buckets pretty quickly. The athleticism, I think, will be on display. And I just, I think, in last week there was the excuse of, well, it's the day after the election, there's a hangover and everything, and maybe people aren't that interested in going out and doing anything. There's the excuse for Wednesday nights for church nights and all of that, and it's not a big-time opponent or anything, but I'm seeing a lot of people on Twitter right now saying they got their tickets up for sale. Here, come and take these tickets. Please take these tickets. And I don't know. I mean, there's this part of me that was expecting that the place would have like 17 to 18,000 for every game because of the hype around them. But I guess that's kind of reserved more for Saturdays and more reserved for SEC games once you get into January. But if I were up in Fayetteville, I'd be going tonight. Heck, next Friday we got a women's game on Thursday. I'm gonna go watch them play because I'm pretty fired up about the ability about this team and watching them.
So think about it in these terms, Phil. When you're in football season and you've got home football games, and you're not in Fayetteville or you're not in Northwest Arkansas, are you going to make 2 trips up in the week?
No, that's a good point for the season ticket holders. They're elsewhere around the state.
Yeah, are you going to make 2 trips? And it's a long trip. And I think this is the time of year where those people generally pass their tickets on. And they do a good job of getting it to other people and finding people that okay, I don't have many shots at going to see a Razorback basketball game or seeing what's going on campus. But so that's what happens at this point of the year when you've got 2 games, football and basketball, in the same week, 3 days apart.
Is there any there's novelty around this. It's like with the last, and I don't mean this as any negativity against Muss. It's like, after the first year, there wasn't the novelty of it. It was the excitement at, hey, look at what they did last year. We got to go watch this. It feels like it's, is novelty the right word still at the moment? Because it's not just Cal, but a whole new team, and we just don't know what it is that they're going to look like.
Well, I don't know if novelty is the right word. Excitement is I think there is a buzz about what's going on there with these players. But I'm 2.5 hours away, and I know I'm coming over Saturday. Do I come over and just stay for the week? That was what I was thinking about. Well, I'm not probably going to do that for Troy. And there's an awful lot of people that are 2.5, 3 hours away, and that's just not an easy proposition. And they're season ticket holders.
Do you think those folks show up before if every game wasn't televised? Like if this was just radio, you think some of those folks that wouldn't use tickets that are elsewhere around the state would make the trip? Okay.
No, I think it's just hard to do it twice in 3 days. You're coming up Friday. You're going to stay for the whole weekend, or you're going to drive up and drive back. Now, Fort Smith, that's a little closer. Those people seem to, come up for most of the games. But yeah, I don't know, Phil. But it is pretty easy to watch it on basketball. I just be honest.
877.
On TV. Yeah,
it is.
TV.
You just, that's why people.
Reality.
That's why they were put on, because they know people are going to put those games on television. 877-377-6963. It's the home stretch. We'll be back with more Clay Henry, Matt Jones, and me right after this.
You see a possum, try to kill it. It's not a pet.
This is Halftime. You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line now.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 mobile app for placing sports wagers.
In Arkansas, 7 out of every $10 placed on a sporting bet app is with Bet Saracen.
because Bet Saracen offers more ways to win and more ways to get paid, and faster. Find your winners on Bet Saracen and look for my R prop bet specials. I pick them and you win them.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
Oh no, my phone.
Hear that? It's the sound of a skater dropping her phone and smashing it on the ice. Yep, it's definitely broken. But at Verizon, we got you. Black Friday starts now. Trade in any phone, any condition from one of our top brands and get a new Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus on Unlimited Ultimate and Watch 7 and Tab S9 FE 5G. That's up to $1,900 in value. So you'll save big on 3 great gifts. Hurry into Verizon this Black Friday. Service plan required for Watch and Tablet. Up to $1,900 value based on phone, watch, and tablet. Trade in and additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
The long wait is almost over, Waldron. Wave Rural Connect will be opening the Waldron Zone for orders November the 18th. If you registered before the 18th, you still need to put in your product order when Waldron opens. Amazing fiber internet and phone, all from a local provider in Ozark, Arkansas, is coming to Waldron. Pre-register online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
After I drop the kids off, I have to run across town for a meeting, hit the gym during lunch. Jake has soccer tonight, and Emily has gymnastics? Oh, did I turn on the crock pot this morning?
With the never-ending to-do list, it's easy to forget something important, like setting up a life insurance plan with Shelter Insurance. Your local Shelter agent can show you how to create a safety net for your family. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
See Agent Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
If you are involved in a divorce or custody case, you want an attorney you can trust to guide you through the process. The attorneys at Hickey and Hole Law Partners have over 7 decades of combined experience. Hickey and Hole have seen and heard nearly every scenario you can imagine, ready to put that experience to work for you to get the best results. Visit KevinHickeyLaw.com or give them a call today, 479-434-2414. Hickey and Hole Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodies.
Before you buy that next car or truck, stop by Broadway Motors in Van Buren. The best of the best for 2 straight years. Michael and his team offer the best prices on the best quality pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. They invite you to stop by and check it out for yourself. Or if you prefer to check out their inventory online or even do your financing online. Michael has built his reputation as a husband, father, and owner-operator since 2006. Broadway Motors, 806 Broadway in Van Buren, or online at BroadwayMotorsAR.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Welcome back on Halftime. Phil Elson, Matt Jones Hall of Famer Clay Henry with us here. So some had asked about you get Coach Pittman radio show. You got basketball tonight starting at the same time. We will air the basketball game tonight. 6:30 airtime for the pregame. 7:02 tip off. They never tip games off right at the zeros. It's always
only if you're Mussolini. You know, like one thing he did was get the train schedule right.
Yeah,
bad joke. I'm sorry.
Didn't really end very well for him when it was all said and done. But the Coach Pittman radio show, for my assumption, it will be airing just on the app, on the Arkansas Razorback app. Varsity Network app also would be airing the Coach Pittman radio show, but we don't have fallover stations to put a secondary broadcast on, so it will be basketball on ESPN Arkansas 6:30, 7:02 tip. Pittman radio show will be airing, as you can't say airing, streaming on ArkansasRazorbacks.com and the Arkansas Razorback app. So it's a lot going on today as far as that is concerned. Clay, we were bringing up earlier, you've stopped at Come and Go before, I'm assuming, because you do so much traveling. They're changing the name.
Stopped at all of them, yeah.
But they're changing the name. Maverick has taken over all of Come and Go. They did that over a year ago. They're changing the name to Maverick. They actually should change the Maverick names to Come and Go. Let's just be honest about this. Favorite gas stations out there? Some folks send in Buc-ee's. It can be a little bit too crowded sometimes. That is more of a novelty than anything. And I don't go to get gas where I'm going to shop all the time. I don't think it should necessarily be a Walmart, but it's fine. I'm a QT guy. I like Quick Trip. I can go to Quick Trip any day of the week. Good coffee. Got to have good coffee at a good gas station. Got to now have a kitchen in your convenience store to seriously qualify to be one of the best. And they've got those things. So feel pretty good about it, too, because I don't think we have a gas station sponsor at the moment. Do you have a favorite one?
I like the Y store in Salesville. That's a mom and pop place. Dwayne at the Y store. He's probably listening right now.
Is that a
It's in the middle of the road.
Will they pump the gas for you?
Nobody pumps the gas for you. Yeah, I think that the last place that I went to, it was somewhere in West Omaha that I went to. I was going to the Shields out in West Omaha and pulled into a place that was, again, it was in the middle of the road, and they came out and pumped the gas and cleaned my windshield.
Nice and old-fashioned.
It was stunning. I mean, I was just like, what? There's somebody, what do you want, unleaded? Yeah. And I was like, but I'll get out and do it. I thought, well, maybe I was taking too much time or whatever, but no, they cleaned the front windshield and they cleaned the back windshield and they cleaned the lenses on the headlights. This was in Omaha, Nebraska.
We got a couple of texters that say they love Casey's, and Andy says Casey's has put literally every gas station out of business around where he's in Mountain Home. I see a lot of Casey's popping up, and I had to convince my daughter. She loves pizza. I had to convince my daughter. It's like, you're hungry. We're going up to Fayetteville. We're stopping at Casey's. We're getting pizza. Gas station?
Yeah. So
yes. Really good.
Casey's is hit or miss. They're not a sponsor, so I can say whatever I want to say.
I like your candor.
Sometimes their bathrooms are good, and sometimes they're really bad. And the other thing that just grates on me is if if you're traveling, you need to clean the bugs off your windshield now and then. And if there's no water and no paper towels at the pump, then that's a bad gas station.
That's true.
And Casey's it's hit or miss.
Got to make sure you get a clean bathroom. Do you want one of those doors that you can open with your foot?
Absolutely.
Now, does it give you the same reason, or do you feel like you need to be able to pump your gas with your foot? Why are we not opening bathroom doors with our hands when we're using the same hand on the gas pump, and some guy with filthy hands just used the same gas pump you did? So we need to be able to pump gas with our feet.
That's why I'm going to go in and wash my hands.
That's why you go inside before you start pumping, right?
Well,
right.
Just don't touch your face and until after you've washed your hands.
I was used to love
germophobics here.
Not me. I don't care. I really don't. I'll be fine. It's just wonders. Like, well, we're worried about what's going on in the bathroom, but not actually before you get to the station where everybody is using the gas pumps unless you got gloves on or you wipe them down.
I don't get it though when they can't replace, fill up the water fluid so you can clean your windshield, because that can be dangerous. If you're traveling at night, you can have bugs on your windshield. I want to clean them.
I also want to know that I can get a good, strong whiff of the gas, because it still smells as good now as it did when I was a kid. Do we all remember that feeling? When they used to pump the gas for you, which nobody does now unless you live in Oregon or New Jersey.
Or Omaha.
Or Omaha, the one place you said. You'd be like, all right, I'm opening. I don't care if it's 13 degrees outside and snowing. I need that smell. Bring it. And then I needed to be the kid who was the one who would put Dad's credit card on the credit card slide machine and do that thing. And then all of a sudden they started letting you pump your gas. And when Dad let me pump his gas for the first time, I thought I was ready to drink. It felt like I was grown up at that point.
You
What
got
a day
to
that
pump
was.
gas before you got to drive, though, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I think most people would be that
Yeah.
way. I would hope.
Pump the gas, but you're not ready to drive yet.
But I do not come from an era, nor do you, Clay, nor many of our listeners, where you would go into a gas station and think, you know what? I'm starving. I need pizza here, right now, here, today. But that is the life we live now. And I think, what's the name of the pizza company? It's funny. You look at, saw a list like a month ago of over the last 70 years, the fast food restaurants that have had the most revenue. And I think it's Hunt Brothers Pizza.
Hunt
is that
Brothers,
one of the names?
they've got it
Yeah.
at the Y store.
Hunt Brothers Pizza.
I get their pizza.
Is one of
extra
the most
cheese, extra sausage for the Super Bowl. That's where I go.
One of the most, it has some of the most revenue that has been coming into a company for fast food of any of the companies. It's and they're just at gas stations. I don't know if
I
they're
think
come and
Casey's
go or not.
pizza's okay. Yeah, I think
it's
okay.
really good, to be honest. I think it's outstanding. Travis says there's a small full-service gas station in Yellville. So there's a place you can have your gas pumped.
There is. That guy. I had a flat tire there, and he came out with a hydraulic jack and helped me.
Where else here? Thayer, Missouri. Dustin in Mammoth Spring, who lives in Mammoth Spring. He says in Thayer, Missouri, just north of Mammoth Spring, there is
Missouri,
a place
yeah.
that will pump your gas for you. It's good. I wouldn't let my son pump my gas right now. No way. I do not need my car. Like, I like the smell of the gasoline, but I don't need the car to smell like that for the next year.
You don't want him getting back in this. Dad, yeah, diesel's what we run, right?
Yeah, you're supposed to put the pump inside the gas tank before you start pumping the gas, son. There's just certain things, there's steps that we do when we're
And turn it
running
off
through a
before
process.
you put it back. Yeah.
That's exactly right. Van Buren John's is full service, according to Cole in the Fort. And the
Cool.
pizza at Casey's is incredible. I mean, they got breakfast pizza. They got it all. Here I'm doing commercials for them. And all this was just bring it up, come and go.
Yeah, but I'm the balance. I've got, there's some of the cases. They're not consistent, Phil. They're not consistent. And, I'm not going to say which ones not to go into, but there are some between here and Fayetteville that I will not go in anymore.
Oh, I think I might have taken the gas station conversation about as far as possibly can. But when you travel as much as you and I do, Clay, you definitely develop
You pick your
some opinions.
spots.
You do.
You use, okay, they're your go-to spots. I'm going to stop there. And, there's also the fast food aspect of, I'm traveling. All right, where am I going to trust, my breakfast and my lunch, depending on what time I leave, where's the coffee that I like? And, I can go through and say, all right, there's a Sonic that I will not go to. And then there's one that I really like. And I'm sure it has to do with management.
It's kind of funny how these things work out. We've had texts come in where it's pretty obvious. Casey's Pizza is the best gas station pizza, but that also goes along with potentially the worst bathrooms. This seems to make some sense.
And also not having water in the reservoir where you're going to clean your windshield.
All of a sudden, I start thinking about what are the bathrooms like at Pizza Hut? What are they like at Domino's? I'm not walking in there. Or going to the bathroom at Casey's just because that's where I am at that moment. Go figure about some of these things.
You got to go.
Newport has a service gas station, according to Caleb. It says it's 30 cents more. So the effort, and remember, like, you pay extra for packaging You pay extra for if you go get an
Service.
apple, you go get an apple and you slice it yourself. But if you buy that apple sliced up, it's going to cost you an extra $1.50. It's the same with gas
Somebody did it.
stations here.
Yeah.
Matt, I saw you coming over to the microphone there. What do you got?
Well, there's a Courtney Barnett song, and she's like, I heard they stick nicotine in the apples, So I think you might be right. It's all propaganda.
Well, it all works too because they sell nicotine of various kinds at all the gas stations too.
And that's a problem, Phil. The bigger the gas station, Clay, I get what you're talking about. The bigger the gas station, the more people that get in there, the more crowded it gets. So when I want just a Dr. Pepper, one thing in line, there's one person in front of me with, more fingers than teeth trying to dig through all their entire pockets to buy one pack of cigarettes or, transferring money between 9 different apps to get one lottery ticket. That's frustrating. So I don't like the big gas stations either. I'm with you, Clay.
Yeah, I mean, if they're selling lottery tickets and I see 4 people pull up outside and they're not at pumps, well, I know what they're doing. They're in there buying lottery tickets. Just keep on going. Don't stop there.
But, so that's different than Buc-ee's. They don't sell the lottery at Buc-ee's. I don't want going to a convenience store or to pump gas. It's not an event. It's you don't have to sell tickets to this kind of thing. It's not something that's being televised. We're just getting gas, using the bathroom, and maybe grabbing something to eat. And Buc-ee's does it great. It's just when I walk in there, I feel like I've almost walked into the gas station version of Disney World. Like, that's not what this is about. I want to get in and I want to get out.
It's a Joel Osteen megachurch of gas stations going to a Buc-ee's.
I mean, they've got, 36 pumps? I mean, how many pumps do they have at a Buc-ee's? It's a lot.
Like 50 or 60.
Over I think you're talking about over 100, truthfully.
Is over 100? Yeah.
I do. So I need you to repeat what you just said, El Flama Blanca. What was that?
It's like going to one of those big mega churches of a gas station going to a Buc-ee's. I mean, they have literally everything, every type of, seasonal nut you could possibly find. And it's, but that's its own type of thing. You don't go there. No one goes to Buc-ee's. No one stops at Buc-ee's thinking I need gas. They go to Buc-ee's for the spectacle, to be surrounded by all the tourists that stop at Buc-ee's.
It's like the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight that's coming up.
It's a
It's
spectacle.
like the whole thing leading up to it's going to be better than the fight. I know, Phil, you had brought that up a while back ago. Tyson's going to knock that dude out.
And Buc-ee's is overpriced anyway.
Like Jake Paul, he's a WCW. He's like
I won't be on the show on Friday, so I won't be able to bring it up with you guys then. But tomorrow will be my Friday, so I'm definitely going to bring that thing up.
Yeah, so you go into Buc-ee's and you look and they've got an aisle and it's every kind of Twinkies made. Every kind. I mean, it's like, they've got the chocolate covered Twinkies. They've got the pink Twinkies. They've got 3 in a wrapper Twinkies. They've got everything.
Yeah, and they also have Mickey and Donald and Minnie and Goofy and Pluto and all of them over there because that's what it is. It's Disney World gas station. Stay with us. We got to take a quick break. We'll wrap up halftime with no gas stations right after this.
This is halftime.
Get ready for the biggest sporting event of the year in the Oklahoma area. Modern Gun Deer Season 2024 and Jelco Outdoors has everything you need to have a great hunt. Hunting clothing and boots, rifles, ammo, tree stands, ground blinds, cover sets, feeders, knives, rangefinders, and everything you need for all the family to have a great deer season. Jelco wishes all the hunters good luck and safe hunting from your friends at Jelco Outdoors in Fort Smith.
Top CDL Academy is a licensed Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration that provides the federal required training to obtain both Class A and Class B CDL licenses. Our program provides assistance with employment after graduation. We have finance and grant options available. Students straight out of class have started new careers earning $70,000 to $140,000 per year, and training is provided for all 50 states. Call today, 479-632-1050. COP CDL Academy.
With everyday low prices on top brands, locally owned Jaegers Ace Hardware is committed to offering real service with real savings. Our brand new Barling location is now open at 942 Fort Street. Get these red-hot buys at all 5 locations. A 230-piece Craftsman Versa Stack Mechanics tool set, only $99. Milwaukee Select M12 and M18 tools and batteries, also $99. And Ace Reward members get super instant savings on select DeWalt and Craftsman tools and accessories. Find more everyday low prices online at JaegersHardware.com.
Brothers Roofing and Restoration, a licensed and insured local roofing contractor in Arkansas. Since his playing days for the Hogs, Brother Alexander has been on rooftops, many years as an adjuster, And in the past decade as a roofing contractor, he knows how to help you through the insurance process while replacing your roof using only the industry's best materials. And being a lifelong Arkansan, he'll be here to stand behind his workmanship and warranty. Call 479-353-3877 to arrange a time for Brother and his team to inspect your roof.
Hi, everybody. Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where all we do is keep you rolling. If you're needing a used car, we've got them. Everything from the most affordable cash cars to road-ready certified with warranty. The best used cars your money can buy. And we've got a finance option for everyone, whether you have great credit and you're looking for the best rate or you're needing to build your credit with a reputable lender. We've got you. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center. All the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath.
This is Coke Zero Sugar. Could I be the best Coke ever? Try and taste with your ears. Hear those bubbles? Imagine them tingling on your tongue. Fizzy deliciousness. Listen to that cascading liquid. A mouth-watering waterfall. Irresistibly tasty. Zero sugar. Crisp, refreshing, and ice cold. Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Try and decide.
Finally, football season. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria is your #1 place to watch Arkansas and Monday Night Football. During Monday Night Football, $5 refillable beer cups for only $2 refills. Prizes for each score and at the end of every single quarter.
Can you believe that they've had the same great pizza since 1996? That's nearly 30 years.
Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. You'll get the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
At Our Best Bank, we believe in the power of community. That's why we recognize, serve, and support communities of all kinds. From small towns to big cities, business startups to large companies, young families to seniors, and those with shared backgrounds and interests. We value your contributions and are proud to work alongside you because every community deserves a financial partner who cares. Our Best Bank. We believe.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Oh, once upon a midnight TV, I woke with something in my head. Couldn't escape the memory of a phone call and of what you said. Like a game show, texting with a party gift. I could not believe my eyes when I saw through the parts of a trusted friend who needs to humor me and tell me lies. Yeah, humor me and tell me lies.
Five halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Great song by 45.
You can always trust 45 is going to come with a banger.
We could throw that one on there anytime. That's a Blues Traveler. They rock. We don't play U2. We don't play I say we. I don't get the final say so in this, but no Pearl Jam, no Kanye West, no Morgan Wallen. We got about 8 bands we don't play. Pearl Jam,
Tom Petty.
U2. Yeah, Tom Petty. So
They've been etched in stone, and they're here in the studio. I have them as a reminder. But I always try and bring the vibes. And John Popper, how talented is he? Playing the harmonica at the same time. It's
he
insane.
was a
breath
gangster.
control.
He's one of the coolest. I hope he's still alive. But
He's still around. He's like a third of the size he was when that song came out.
He's one of the coolest musicians you'll ever see.
And Clay, do you have any thoughts on Blues Traveler? Good.
That's. I was tapping my foot to that.
Matt mentioned the Tyson fight, and I think about it, we still call it the Tyson fight after all these years. Think of all the other times you said that, the Tyson fight. Even when he fought Holyfield,
Riddick Bowe,
Lennox Lewis, Riddick Bowe. It was the Tyson fight, and that's how I feel about this next one. Though I'm a little worried because I just have these images of what he was to me when I was 10. And he literally was the baddest man on the planet. That nickname was legit. And I can't stomach the thought of a 59-year-old man, no matter how in shape he is. The guy deals with sciatica, massive ulcers. I think Paul is better than a lot of folks give him credit for. I don't know. I'm a little worried about the direction that this could go because Tyson looked like a shot fighter at age 39. That was against a legitimate pro fighter. But again, I think Paul's a little bit better than people think.
They both are past tense, though, both of them.
Well, the other aspect of this, too, is this isn't really the best thing for boxing. Like, is this the kind of thing that gets more eyes to legitimate boxing matches? Doubtful. It'll be the most watched boxing match maybe of my lifetime. That's exactly what it is. Picture perfect saying there, Matt. You nailed it.
It's entertainment, yeah. Bad entertainment, but it's like, I mean, I think that you used a word earlier in capitalism is appropriate, but novelty is the other thing. It just is just, it's just so weird. Yeah, it's just weird. It's like,
spectacle.
Gonna watch this, yeah.
But here's the other it'll be the thing that you can't pull your eyes away from. Most of us have a Netflix subscription, so you get the opportunity to watch it. It's not like you got to get in on the closed circuit or anything. I think most of us will watch it because you can't take your eyes off.
I've got to say this, though. Anytime you say the word boxing, worrying about somebody's health is secondary.
And no Pearl Jam.
That's first.
Ever.
That's top of mind, at least for Matt. I still kind of like Pearl Jam. It's been a
Well,
while since I heard
hey,
anything new.
play Dissident sometime and then listen to it and think, yeah, you know what? Maybe I should make better decisions.
Clay, always good to have you, man. Thanks
Thank
for coming
y'all
on.
for having me.
You got it. Matt, see you guys tomorrow. I'll be in studio. We got basketball at Bud Walton tonight, women's basketball tomorrow. Ruskin and Zach coming up. Eastside Liquor podcast ready to go. Get up, get out, get better.
Ready to explore beyond the beaten path? Discover the Range Rover lineup at Land Rover of Little Rock. Experience handcrafted luxury with the capability to take on any adventure. The elegant Range Rover offers unmatched performance